This is Hanging with Hayes, the podcast where real life takes center stage. I'm your host, Chelsea, wife, virtual assistant, photographer, dog mom, and entrepreneur. Join me as I dive into the everyday experiences that shape our lives, relationships, and everything in between. Remember, these are my personal opinions, so take them with a grain of salt. Get ready for candid conversations and genuine insights. Welcome to Hanging with Hayes. Thank you for being on my podcast. This is Haley. Haley and I met on TikTok. I saw one of her videos and I immediately fell in love with what you were saying. I felt very like a like-minded person, was just talking, yapping about the same kind of stuff I talk about, and I resonated immediately with what you were saying. Honestly, I think you were like 2 sentences in. I don't even remember what you were talking about, but it was something about, holding women accountable for things that they do. And I'm like, oh my God, immediately follow. I was like, this girl is, yes, you're like a breath of fresh air.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I know I immediately did the same thing to you. I always look to see who follows. And I saw that and I was like, follow right back. So, I don't know, TikTok, as crazy as it sounds, it has brought so many like cool friendships to my life.
Me too.
And so you now being
like
one of
so
them.
Many.
So thank you so much for having me on here.
Yeah, I'm
even
so
though
excited
we were just
you're
belly
here.
laughing and we couldn't even get started.
I know. We suck.
Thank you. Yeah, I know.
Thank you for taking the time out of your day to come on it. I know it's kind of hard to get schedules together and everything. But so first and foremost, I do want to tell me about who you are beyond social media. What is your backstory? Give me a lowdown on that and we'll start from there.
So funny thing, Haley Rochelle, Rochelle's actually my middle name. A lot of people think it's my last name, but I don't know.
I knew it was your middle name.
In trouble when I was younger, and I'm like, Haley Rochelle. So I don't know. It just stuck. So it's actually Rochelle, not my last name. But no, I grew up in Illinois. I'm 38 years old. I have 3 brothers, and my mom and dad have been married. Almost coming up on 40 years now. And so I grew up in a blue-collar home. My dad was a carpenter, a union carpenter. My whole family was in the union. And so I was like immersed into that, going with my dad on side jobs, in the summertime, not realizing how hard he was actually working, until I got older and realized, how much they did struggle. My 3 brothers grew up as an athlete, and I left to join the military in 2006. I graduated in 2005. And became a medic in the Air Force and got stationed in Florida. And that's where I met my, now ex-husband, and it all kind of just took off from there.
Oh my God, that is amazing. That is so cool. I honestly had no idea that you were in the military either. So that's even cooler because I have a lot of veterans that watch my podcast too. So that's really cool.
Yeah. 7 years active duty. I was a medic and I do what?
Sorry, go ahead. You're literally saying what I was asking.
Oh, I think there's a little bit of a delay, but 7 years.
There is.
I did 7 years active duty. I got out in 2013, and I initially did a 6-year enlistment, but then I had to extend a year to get joint spouse orders with Jose at the time. So went to Iraq in 2009 to Kirkuk, Iraq, and got to take care of some injured soldiers, and I tell you what, that was a huge eye-opener, and memories that I'll cherish or take with me forever, and it gives you a whole new perspective on being an American.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. And I have the utmost respect for people that do that because I could never do that. I'm not proud enough to say that I couldn't do that. I literally could not. Mental capacity is not strong enough. So.
I bet you could more than what you think. So I bet.
Yeah. I mean, your mind is adaptable, but at the same time, just like thinking about all that stuff that people go through and reading about it and hearing about it, I'm like, wow. Granted, I know that you can overcome and adapt a lot of things, but
to be honest, if I could go back and do it all over again, I totally would.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, oh, I totally would. Because it has shaped me to the person. Like, there's still even little things now. Like, I noticed in the military, if you're on time, you're late, is what they call. You always have to be 15 minutes early, and that's any time after that, it's considered. And so I find myself like drilling that into my son, and he's like, "Why do we have to be early all the time?" You know? And so little things I still carry with me, people, friendships that I've had, since 2007 when I joined. Or wait, yeah, 2007. Or I joined in 2006. I don't even remember. 2007? 2006. 2006. 2006.
2000 something.
I'm getting old. Yeah, it was 2006.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Hilarious. So,
Oh.
I know that you said that you were instilling things like that into your son. I love hearing that because there are so many people that don't teach their children things, even small things like being early to things. Like they're like, well, that's just who I am. Sorry, that's who I am. Like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. So hearing that from you, I'm like, oh, I love it.
And honestly, this I have said this before and I get kickback on this. And to me, when someone counteracts what you're saying or finds offense to it, it's really their inner projecting. They're projecting out because they know you struck a chord. I don't think anyone should be showing up late. When you are showing up late to something, it's showing that my time is more important than your time, and all the excuses. I don't think it's cute when women are like hustling, bustling late, running out the door, kids, all that. Because I know women or people who have men and women who have children, multiple children, who get to places on time and have no problem to have all these things going on. It just, boils down to priorities. And you have to plan accordingly for traffic to happen. So the excuse of people always being late, I don't buy it.
Now we're recording and we're back. Third time's a charm.
We're back. Now you get the scenic view of my headboard and the wonderful sign above my bed. We're just trying to give y'all a tour. That's all.
So, after the military, what did you do with your life?
So I became a contractor, and that's when I got into the health and fitness and started doing meal plans. So I kind of worked from home. I kind of dabbled a little bit in school, and I was like, school was not for me at the time. And so that actually led me. So by this point, we had PCS to Philadelphia. And at this point, I was a stay-at-home mom with my son, which I was so thankful for that time. He was a toddler. And then doing the meal plans and all that stuff for people. And Wes had approached me on social media and said, you look like you'd be a good fit to be like athlete sponsorship coordinator. So at this time I was doing the powerlifting and all the content creation stuff. I had no like business experience. Okay. So he owns Rogue American Apparel and Invader Coffee. And so I'm like, yeah, so I do this job like 20 hours a week working from home, Adrian with a toddler and, or Adrian was a toddler. It's so weird, like hearing myself.
How old is he now?
Like this. He's 12 going on 20. He's like my little man child. He's as tall as me now. It's so funny,
little man.
Because some people on social media, the Instagram that I have now, I recreated that a few years back. But there's people on there who have seen me from my old Instagram account that have literally watched him grow up. So they've seen all of the, evolution of Haley, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
It's a big difference. Yes. So at this time, so I started doing the athlete sponsorship coordinator stuff, and then my marriage was going to kaputs at that time. And I remember I was sitting on the bed. Actually, Jose was right there, and I took this phone call from Wes, and he was like, "Invader Coffee is starting to take off. Like, it needs to be its own entity. I think you'd be great for that. Like, because throughout that time, just bouncing the business stuff, and he realized that I had a knack for he saw something in me that I didn't even know that I had with the business stuff. And so I remember I was like looking for jobs all over the US. I applied for different jobs. Because at this point, Jose and I were separated. I got a job at the Birmingham VA. And so I was like looking at houses. We came up with like a child support agreement, like our own agreement. And he had agreed for me to take Adrian with me at the time. And so I was like dead set. I was moving. So he offers me this position. And I knew Birmingham is not where I needed to be. Like something was just off about it. And at the time, I didn't realize it was, a God, telling me like, do this. And so I take this job and, so I'm sitting on the bed. So Wes offers me this position, to take Invader over as the director of operations. So I ended up running the operations for both Invader and Rogue American. And at the time, I felt as if it was like a remote thing. And I remember saying like, oh, nope, I'm moving. Like I'm moving. And literally within a month I picked up and I started over in Austin, literally a month later.
Oh,
and I'll never
my
forget
God.
that. My son stayed with his dad for 10 days as I drove. I literally packed everything that I could fit in my Durango. And Adrian stayed with his dad for 10 days while I drove. So in the meantime, I stopped to see my brother, see family. I come get established here, get childcare set up, an apartment, get all new
How long
things.
ago was this?
This was 2017.
Oh, wow.
2017 in Austin.
Holy
so
cow.
literally picked up and started completely over.
That's crazy to think
It is.
about, too.
It is, literally. I never looked at it that way, until people were like, that's like a big deal to pick up your whole life as a mom and, move half across the country.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, like I don't regret things now, now at this point in my life. I would have gone about things completely different, I wouldn't have been in the
Hindsight's
position.
2020.
I wouldn't have even been in the position that I was in. However, I don't think that I would be who I am if I didn't go through all of that to get to this.
Yeah, for sure. So what led you to divorce, if you don't mind me asking that?
Yeah, no, I'm an open book on that. I know you and I had talked about this. I do want to be cognizant or mindful of my ex-husband because he's still in the military. And he's a very private person, so
Yep.
he hates social media. He's a lurker, but he doesn't like pictures, all that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really feel that the demise of my marriage started with my health issues. So rewind a little bit. I was active duty in the military. So we met in Florida, got married in Florida. We PCS to Arizona. We both were active duty. And that's where my son was born, in Arizona. I got diagnosed. So I go to Iraq, come back, then we PCS shortly after. My son was born. I was diagnosed with Graves' disease. I ended up having heart surgery. I had a hole repaired in my heart. So I have a piece of Gore-Tex in my heart.
Holy cow.
I got diagnosed with MS, so in like a 3-year time span, it was boom, boom, boom. But before the heart surgery, before the MS, just with the Graves stuff and being a new mom, I was a brand new NCO in the military, working in a stressful job, flight medicine clinic.
That's a lot of
NCOIC
stress on top of that.
My NCOIC was deployed to Afghanistan almost every other, I felt like he was gone every few months. He'd be gone for a long stretch. So here I'm a brand new NCO, thrown into this leadership position, running a flight medicine clinic. So I'm in charge of the flight docs, the flight surgeons who take care of all the pilots, all the flyers. And I don't know if you know things about the military, like the pilots are like the top tier of the Air Force. Like they are treated like your Royal Highness, so it's stressful.
I know that much. That's all I really know. But yeah, I know that part.
Yeah, I'll never forget responding to the flight line in the ambulance because there was an in-flight emergency. So I remember having the radio on, we're in the ambulance, and my heart is already palpitating. So with the Graves' disease, I wasn't diagnosed yet at this time. Literally, I would stand up and my heart rate would be 140 to 170. I was like walking thermogenic.
Is that the same thing as POTS?
It's not. So Graves' disease is autoimmune hyperthyroidism. So there's two.
Oh.
So you can have regular thyroid disease. Say if you're just over time, your thyroid just kind of craps out. or different environmental factors, but you have autoimmune thyroid disease. So there's Graves' disease, which is hyperthyroidism, and then Hashimoto's thyroiditis is
Oh, yeah.
the underactive
Okay.
autoimmune. So
Okay.
I feel like, I mean, I've met quite a few people with Graves, but I feel like I've met more people with Hashimoto's. And so I was on medication. I was on the highest dose of antithyroid methimazole that you
Are
can
you
be
still on that?
So not now. So I was on that medication during my pregnancy, and then after I had my son, 6 weeks after I had my son, like they call like a thyroid storm. My thyroid completely crashed. I had a large goiter, so I was choking on my food and water. So the doctor's like, look, like I had to stop nursing my son because I was on the highest dose. Like it would have caused, growth defects in him
Oh
and all
my.
these different things. So I had to make a choice, and he said either radioactive iodine. I only had two options: radioactive iodine, take a pill, it kills your thyroid off. And I'm like, radioactive iodine, and he had to go through all these procedures of like putting your clothes in garbage bags, and you had to stay in a hotel. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like,
And
I'm
you
not
had to
putting
put
that
that
in
in
my body.
your body?
It was either that or have it removed, have my thyroid removed, and I was like, cut that thing out.
Yeah.
So
I'd take it twice.
so it's right here. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but
It's
and
very
people,
faint.
well, my necklace, I feel like it sits right on top of it. But
Oh, yeah.
when people ask, I'm like, oh, I was in a bar fight. You should see the other person, how they turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, got him.
I had a knife.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
Okay. So I'm just going to ask this question the way that it is written,
Yeah.
just because I like how it is asked. When putting this outline together, I was like, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So I know you talk a lot of controversial things on the internet, and I love it. Every single time I see one of your videos, I'm like, yeah, girl, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. And I read your comments. I sit there and I just binge them. I'm like, these people, oh my God. Anytime you do anything controversial on the internet, people lose their shit, and I think it's
they do.
hysterical.
They do.
It's so
And
funny.
you know what I love about people on the internet is they don't. It's like, y'all, I need you to put your critical thinking caps on, okay, and listen to what I'm saying. Like it's like they don't even listen. They listen to
They
reply.
also pick every word apart.
Yes.
So if you say all women or all men,
Oh my gosh. I know.
shut up.
I
You
know.
know I mean certain, specific.
Or like I'll get like, well, men can be abusive too. Yes, I know. Like, yes, I know it's
Cindy. Thank you.
it's interchangeable. I know that.
Oh my God. I love that. That can work both ways.
Yeah.
I'm aware,
I
bro.
know.
I'm aware. But,
Thank
you know,
Captain Obvious.
I know nothing. Okay.
I know. Thank you for interneting today.
Oh my God, I know. It's like I had no idea how the internet worked. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, some of the
God.
comments. Sometimes though, people give me like content to talk about. Like sometimes I won't, like I'll just be scrolling through the FYP and I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah, I do that. I do that too. I'll see a video and then I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna make a video about that later. Send to self. Send to self. I do that shit all the time.
Yep.
I'm like,
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you for the content.
Yep, right?
Your stupid stuff. Okay, so this question. Societal expectations versus real marriage struggles. Do you think that there is more of a society standard, or were a lot of the things that you guys struggled with in your marriage like actual problems, or do you think it was like trying to hold that standard of like a perfect marriage?
So I'm actually glad that you asked this. So kind of a good segue. So as you know, and if you follow me, you know I'm very heavily in my faith. I was not before. I was actually an atheist up until
Really?
a few years back. I hate to say that, but it's also part of my testimony. So it's like it makes me cringe on one side, but like I'm so happy for where I'm at today. and I could never ever imagine going back. Like I thought God wasn't real. My brother passed away, seeing war and Iraq, like all these different things happening, the health issues. I'm like, God's not real. Like God doesn't, bad things don't happen.
It gives me full chills.
That's how I would think. And so my ex-husband, he grew up in the church. He went to Christian private schools. He was, church on Friday, church on Wednesday, church on Sunday, like very immersed. He could tell you all about the Bible. But we did not meet on a godly foundation. We did not have a foundation of a godly marriage. I was certainly not raised in a home with a godly foundation. My parents believe in God, but they were like anti-church. I grew up thinking church was like, what was that? The Koresh, the guy in Waco, like some people will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
David Koresh, like thinking like it was like going to church was like that. So it wasn't until probably it was back. I remember really starting to kind of change my beliefs when we were in Arizona, because I've told a few people this, but part of my testimony, I have MS, and so I have to see an ophthalmologist, and I went for a checkup, and I had a blind spot in my left eye, and he told me, he was like, you could eventually lose your vision in your eye, even though I couldn't physically like see it, like it was on the test. Like I do have eye issues, but like not like, oh my gosh, I'm going blind. And so I remember not consistently praying, but I remember kind of just like tossing it around, like, God, please, like don't let me lose my vision, I went back a year, and I'm gonna have to find these test results in my medical, like I have a box of medical records. I'm gonna have to find these. It was gone. The next year, it was gone. And so I just remember like things that would happen in my life that I'm like, okay, that's God. Like, how did that happen?
Oh
and
my God, it chills
answer.
everywhere. That is so crazy.
Yes. And I forgot how we got on to this about the
talking about societal like, expectations.
Yeah, so going backwards, my marriage was not on a godly foundation. So I do think that was kind of back with my old social media account. So again, I'm going to speak from my side on my wrongdoings. I'm going to leave my ex-husband out of it, even though he was not a little angel. But at the time, you hear people talk about the Jezebel spirit. Looking back,
I love that you talk about that every single time. I'm like, yes, I
didn't know what that was. Guess what? Your girl was a Jezebel. Like, not super promiscuous, not like lying to, but like the lack of accountability. Okay, you hurt me, so I'm justified in hurting you back. Type of thing. So looking back, I completely, was the total Jezebel. And social media, my following grew. I was into powerlifting. And so I was getting sponsorships, barbell apparel, like different things coming at me. I was monetizing my social media. This is back before like social media really kind of took off with monetizing, like content creators and TikTok and all that. And I remember, I tell everyone this, if you are having issues in your marriage, the last place you need to be is on social media, because whether you think you are or not, you will seek that outside validation. And I remember justifying myself. I'm not getting the attention that I want from. I didn't know how to communicate. I wasn't raised to be a communicator. I couldn't talk about my feelings. I couldn't. I remember to kind of piggyback off the initial question. This is how my marriage looks. So neither one of us knew how to communicate. And so instead of like coming, from a godly standpoint, communicating, growing together, we grew apart. So we were together for 10 years. So when I get on social media and I make these videos and people are like, oh, you're not even married. Well, heifer, I was married for 10 years. Like,
I love that you say heifer because I do too, and I love it.
Like, I'm not, they think like I've never been.
I'm not actively married, but I've been there. Okay.
Yes. I'm 38. Like I've been alive for a little bit.
When you said that, I was like, no way.
Yeah, I turned 38 on
32, maybe.
I love you.
No. I legit thought you were joking. Like, I truly did not think. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
also horrible at guessing people's ages, but I
Oh,
always like
thanks.
guess the wrong direction.
I mean, you can see them lines when I get close. Yeah.
I got forehead
Yeah.
lines sometimes.
Oh, I did too. You know, when I was between 34 and 36, I got Botox. That's a whole topic too.
That scares me
That
so bad.
it I obviously don't now. It's well out of my system. It's been 2 years almost that I've had it. But I fell into that trap, I feel like, of trying to upkeep. Not, and I feel like, and I've said this before, and I've gotten kickback, and I will die on this hill. Getting Botox and fillers, injections, plastic surgery, you do what you want, like to
Yep.
each his own, but you need to acknowledge the insecurities on the inside because you're masking insecurities is what you're doing. I don't care what you say. Oh, it makes me I feel better. Yeah. Why do you need the outside validation to make you feel better? And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. Like I have worked so hard on myself. I want the outside to match the inside.
It does.
So
I will tell you that.
well,
Like
thank you.
just
Thank you.
just I actually, it's funny that you say that because I was talking to a buddy this morning because he and I could talk back and forth about like topics that I could talk about on TikTok. And like he has a very controversial like thought processes on stuff. And I always bounce ideas off of him. And he said that to me. He's like, Haley has the kindest like demeanor about her. She's so soft spoken. Her face just like matches her voice, like everything about her just is so like gentle. I'm like, I agree 100% about
give
Haley.
her a hug.
Seriously, like like as soon as you, and the other thing is like listening to you talk, I can hear that you're like thinking about what you're gonna say, and you're not just like saying shit. Like you're actually like, I can't even describe it. It's like your demeanor matches your words in such a calm way. I don't even know how to describe it. As soon as he said that, I'm like, yes.
Oh, well, thank
Agreed.
you. So, you know, not to like sit here and bounce around all things, but I have an issue sometimes cognitively with formulating sentences because of the neurological issues. And I have a vestibular ocular dysfunction that it affects my everyday life. So too much stimulation, even driving, I have to take the long way. I can't be on the busy roads. And there's like a delay in the processing.
Really?
Yeah, I don't talk about it, and maybe I should talk about it more, but it impacts my daily life.
Honestly, you probably should, because I'm sure there are people that can relate.
Probably no, I actually have a list of topics that I want to talk about, and that's one of them, like the anxiety. And no, I'm not knocking anyone that chooses to take medication for anxiety.
Yeah, no,
but I will
no.
will say this: the VA has pushed meds. I'm not on medication. I haven't taken medication. They have pushed it and pushed it. My anxiety got so debilitating, and this all circles back to what affected my marriage as well. It got so bad to the point that like I would have fingernail marks in my sides because like crossing my arms, like I would be digging my nails in my side, trying to get through it. I'm not saying it's not there, but I'm able to combat it more. And to be honest, the closer I got to God, the better my anxiety got. I'm
Isn't
not
that
even
weird?
joking.
I believe you, and I agree.
It's not that it's not there, but I'm able to work through it better.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to explain how I got to that point. And it's like, I feel like it's hard to explain to those that don't know what you're talking about until you're walking that walk with God.
I 100% can relate to that part because I, was it last year? Last year, I went to get tested for ADHD because I fully thought I had it. And they're like, you don't have ADHD. But everybody in my life's like, girl, yeah, you do. I think you answered those questions wrong. And I'm like, yeah, probably. But I got diagnosed with bipolar 3, which bipolar 3, they push anxiety medication on you. I am not on anything, but bipolar 3 is a very weird, it's rare, very rare, like real rare.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard of bipolar 3 just by, I didn't know that there was such a thing.
This makes perfect sense. Normal person self-esteem, Chelsea's self-esteem, real high. Normal person's low, my low, depression. Now, when my lows happen, they don't happen very often, but when they do, they're very, very brief. And then I go right back up to my normal high, but then I have a manic episode in the high, and they happen a lot. And it makes sense because I OCD clean like every Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that makes more sense. But it goes hand in hand with anxiety. And they're like, well, we want you to put you on medication for that. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want that. But it's like basically like just a weird personality problem. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, you know what I say, girl? Embrace it. Embrace the gifts that God gave you.
Thank you, God. Thank you so much. But where I was going with that, talking about, you know, your anxiety has gotten better since, you know, being closer to God. Do you know what 75 hard is?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I did it twice. I did it
Good for
once
you.
in the summer. Thank you. And I did it once in the winter. I will say, wintertime in Michigan sucks. And trying to do that in Michigan in the winter is a different
Brutal.
kind of hard.
I was just about to say.
I
That's
got
like a 75 hard with the exclamation at the end.
two of them.
Yeah.
I got so close to God during 75 hard in the wintertime. And this was like 2 years ago. I quit drinking 2 years ago. 2 years and some change.
good for
2.5
you.
years.
Good for you.
2.5. Next month it'll be 2.5 years.
Good for you.
And thank you. I feel so much better without alcohol. But the amount of anxiety that went away when I was doing that, because I would just take my 45-minute walk outside in a blizzard and just talk to God. And that's what I did. And it was life-changing. Going from just being anxious all the time and then talking to God. I don't know. It's pretty mind-blowing to see how different. And I grew up in church. I grew up in a non-denominational Christian household. My parents still go to church. You know, it's like, that's what I grew up in. But I think the older I got, the more my relationship with God wasn't as strong as it was when I was younger. And now it's like slowly going back to where I, you know, we read the Bible every night.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep, your roots.
And Zach and I made, we wanted to read the Bible every single night. So we read the Bible every night, and we started doing that in January. And we just sit and read like 2 or 3 chapters a night. And well, it's an audio version of it because I can't read some of those names, but
You know, funny thing with the names, I remember, so I'm in the Old Testament. I started reading the front of the Bible January 1st, and it'll end on New Year's Eve, the end of it. And I tell you what, I forget which book I was in, but I'm reading, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not even going to remember these names. Like, why do I have to? And then Pastor Ed, my pastor, I went to church. This was like the next week after. And was joking about the names, like skipping over the names. I'm like, he's talking to me. He's talking to me.
You know what my dad used to do when we would read the Bible through? Because like my parents would do that all the time. My dad would get to those names. He'd be like, a bunch of guys. And then he'd just keep going.
A bunch of guys. To kind of answer a little bit more, I know I kind of got sidetracked. I just feel like there's so much to add to everything. I do feel like society, people try to live up to these expectations of, I know so many people, and I'm sure you can attest to this, where on social media, their life is perfect. I'm like, wait a second, I just spoke to you the other day, and y'all were like about to call the cops on each other. I mean, I don't really have those types of people in my life anymore, but I'm saying, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You know, but on
the people
social
you
media,
can't delete off Facebook because it's just drama.
Yeah. No, but, you know, their lives look perfect. So I do think that that's a big issue nowadays. People think the grass is not greener on the other side. And I think a lot of people think that the grass is greener on the other side because, look, you could be on your phone and you have just like endless options.
Yes.
And the lack of integrity, the lack of conviction. And so people try to live up to this expectation. There is no God in the homes, social media, feminism, all of that stuff, I feel like, has encompassed
lack
the
of
divorce
sitting
rate.
at the dinner table and having dinner together.
That is one thing I will say that my parents did with us. And,
oh my God, me too.
And that's something that I still do with my son, even when he has soccer, whether we have to eat dinner before practice or after practice, like we always, and I can't stand the phones out at the dinner table. Like even out at restaurants, you know, even when my son was little, when we had, if it was like, if there were other little kids over there, him playing with the kids or, but I always try to be cognizant of that. Like try to have, you know, be talking with people, you
Have
know.
conversation, you know, like people did
Yeah.
back in the day. Weird.
Yeah. You know.
Huh.
Yeah, I know. Now, isn't it crazy that now, like, that's like not a normal thing? Like, everyone, honestly, the lack of like present parents nowadays.
Oh
And
my.
I'm not gonna say you're not like a perfect parent because there's times where I have let this consume me when I should not
Of
have let
course.
it consume
Of
me.
course.
But I do feel like parents just willy-nilly let their kid just kind of do whatever. My son has a cell phone. He's 12, and he initially got it when we lived in Austin because his dad was here in San Antonio. It was just easier. And I tell you what, even now, like I monitor that thing like a hawk. He's not allowed to have social media. Um, I look at his conversations, his internet history. Like I am in that thing like white on rice.
It scares me that so many children have access to social media. I'm like, why?
Girl, don't even get me started on these little kids who are influencers. The girls. There's so many times where I would have like comment like, Haley, don't do it. Love like Jesus. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I know. I have to I block those accounts because they make me
Yep.
so angry.
They do. Honestly, then you go look at the mother and it's to me I see the mother is living vicariously through their daughter. You're literally making money. You are making money because your daughter is underage. Someone's
Yeah.
monitoring that account. You're making
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
off of
And that's terrifying.
and the little girls
Terrifying.
in the skimpy clothes and oh my gosh. My son already
I
knows.
Okay, so speaking of clothes, and I want to know your take on this because this is such a I don't even know how to like bring this up, I guess. This isn't even on my outline. This is just me thinking this out loud.
Yeah.
So, I lost 75 pounds I think last June was like when I hit 75 pounds of weight loss and it took me like 3
Oh
years.
wow.
Thanks. And I've never been confident enough to wear crop tops or anything like that. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, you're 32. Is that really a 32-year-old's outfit, you know? But at the same time, I never had been confident enough to wear it. And also, my husband, Zach, has never once been like, you can't wear that. He is very much I'll walk out in an outfit and I'll ask him his opinion. I'll be like, what do you think of this outfit? And he is the biggest hype man ever. He's like, girl, that looks
Aw.
so good. Like, he doesn't say it like that. You know what I mean? He's just
Yeah.
such a hype man about everything. Or I'll come out and be like, does this shirt look stupid or do I wear this one? And he'll be like, this one looks better than that one. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's never been the kind of guy that's like, oh, you're going to actually wear that out. That's going to give someone the wrong impression because I'm not wearing things that are disrespectful to him. I'm respectful of my body. But at the same time, it kind of sucks because now like I can wear a bikini and feel like good in it. But at the same time, I don't want to be disrespectful to him. So it's like, you know, there's
That
that weird
conviction.
fine line. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
such a weird thing.
So I've never really been like a risky type of dresser. Even when I was a
I'm
teenager,
not
like
either.
even
Like, I'm really
thinking
not.
thinking back, like I
Crop
remember
tops are as risky as I get.
I had a halter top on. You know, remember the halter tops? And
Oh,
my
yeah.
dad was like, "You need to go change that." I was never the
Your
type to like
shoulders be shouldering, girl.
so so I've never really been that type person. Even if I had the most banging body, I wouldn't feel comfortable enough doing that. So
I know.
this is what I'm gonna say about that. I like when I see girls in the gym being half naked
Oh, I can't do that.
on the inside, it does how do I say this? I think it is very distasteful. And I think it is a lack of self-respect. it is attention seeking, but I do think it's a lack of self-esteem, even though they're projecting like, oh, I'm very confident. However, I have learned in my walk with God, I try to be less, I've really worked on being less judgmental, because I'm not perfect. And while I don't agree with, women flaunting their stuff and sexualizing their bodies, I also am a sinner too. You're a sinner. He's a sinner. She's a sinner. And I can't decide what sin is worse than the other. So I have really grown with that. I've made videos in the past talking about women being half naked at the gym. And while I still stand by what I said, I don't not agree with it. I'm trying to be better about being less judgmental with that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's such a weird, like, I was never allowed to wear like a two-piece bathing suit when I was growing up. Like, it was always one piece. And like when I turned like I was like 16, I think I got a tankini. And I remember being like, should I wear it? I don't, like,
It's like conviction.
I know. I also have orangutan arms, and they don't look like it. They're just abnormally long and very, very lanky. I never was able to follow that fingertip rule for your shorts. I had to wear Bermuda shorts.
Like, they don't do that now. But I remember that, like standing with your fingertips,
Oh, yeah. Oh, I would put my shoulders up because my arms are so abnormally long. Like, they do not look long. They are long. I'm like 2 inches or an inch and a half away from my kneecaps. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Oh my god, I would have never guessed.
Nobody ever knows that. And then I do it and they're like, oh.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. Like, the whole... You wear whatever the hell you want to wear, but then there's me where I never felt confident enough to wear that, like anything remotely like that. And it sucks because it's like I do want to feel good in my clothes and my body, yet I'm also respecting my husband and my relationship because I'm also not a 20-year-old single person. I've been with him for 12 years, but I don't know. It's a weird...
By the way.
Thank you. A very weird...
And I can understand where you're coming from, where I could see that, where you've never gotten to experience that type of thing before or be comfortable enough to do that. And it's good that you have a supportive husband, though, that like doesn't tell you can't do this, can't do that. And it's also good that you also want to honor him, and be mindful of that. Pastor Ed, where I go to church, CBC in San Antonio, he had said something a few weeks back, and it stuck with me. It kind of goes into what we were saying about me saying about being less judgmental. Sin, can't decide what sin's greater than the other. Something he said that stuck with me is, don't be that Christian that prevents other Christians or other people from seeking God or Jesus. Like, don't be that Christian that is making other people like, oh, and that's what I had growing up. People that I knew that were Christians, I'm like, oh, the judgmental and, all these things. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to be a part of that. Exactly. And so I get that. So I try to be more mindful of that.
It's very, it's also kind of funny because I don't directly like come out and say like, I'm a Christian on my videos because like, that's not really like, that sounds dumb, but it's not really my niche. Like, that's not what I really talk about. Yeah. But a lot of the stuff that I do say, people will say, well, that's biblical. I'm like, I know,
Oh, wait.
Hey, there's a reason, because it is. Yeah. It's so funny because it's like, yeah.
Yes. You know what? Speaking of that, and she'll never see this because she's not on social media, but Genevieve, God bless her. When I started to go, actually, let me back up. I met this mom at wrestling when my son wrestled like years back. And this is before I kind of was believing in God because the things with the eyes and all that stuff had happened. Things in my life had happened that I knew only God could have done, but I was not saved. I definitely was a lukewarm Christian. And I remember her meeting me, and first thing she tells me, oh, I'm Genevieve. And she tells me her husband, unfortunately passed away in Afghanistan in a helicopter accident. So we resonated with each other, me being a medic. And she tells me, and I'm a Christian woman, and I remember when she said that, if my inside could reflect on the outside, I know it was like eye rolling, like, I don't care. I don't care to know that. Like, why are you telling me that? And so that woman, she was the one who planted the seed in me. I owe my whole testimony, my whole relationship with God to her. And I hope someday,
Oh,
and I may never get to tell her this, but she changed my whole life. And I feel like she has changed my son's life. Even, things with my ex-husband and all the different things.
yeah.
All because she invited me to go to church. And I didn't even tell her I was going to go. I show up one day. I don't tell her that I'm there. I sit in the pew, and I'm like, oh, the music. Like, I'm all like, I'm like feeling it. So
You're like, oh, okay.
I forget the song that it was, but I grew up going to church with my aunt, though. Like, she, be in the choir and all this stuff. She'd always take us to church on Sundays, but like I said, I did not grow up with God in the home. And I don't even think I understood what I was being around at the time. I was just like, oh, I'm going to church. We're gonna sing and whatever. But that day that I was in church, my aunt passed away, and I did not go to her funeral because after my brother passed away, it's like death at the time. Death was very scary to me, and it was made me uncomfortable, and I did not go. And it was one of my biggest regrets in my life. And I remember being there, and I never felt the Holy Spirit like this before. I remember my whole body, the tingle, and they were playing a song that we sang in church when I was with her when I was younger. And I was like, I'm getting chills now even thinking about it.
I am too.
I was like, that was God telling me, like, it's okay. Like, she forgives you for it. Like, and in that moment, like, then I started going, maybe not religiously every Sunday, but I started coming back, and
religiously.
I told Genevieve, I was still lukewarm at this time, and I told Genevieve, that I was there and all that. So I would see her from time to time. We'd sit by each other, and but yeah, she doesn't do social media. I tried to text her, and she's got the Samsung. She's never on her phone. So it's green already anyway. So I don't know if she got a new number, so I don't know.
Just record this part and just try to send it to her somehow.
Right. So I owe
email.
my whole testimony to Genevieve.
That is so awesome. I love
bless her.
that so much.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready for a controversial question?
Oh, bring it. Bring it.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Why did I think of Austin Powers?
Oh my God. Okay. Do you think modern feminism is creating unrealistic expectations for marriage?
I don't think it's having any expectations for marriage. It's gone to craps. Like, if you were to base a marriage off of feminism, and to be honest, okay, so I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna try to say it to not sound horrible, because I love my parents dearly. I do not have a relationship with them. They cut me off in 2022, and they might see this. I don't know, and so I don't want to. I don't want to hurt their feelings or say things that I can't take back, but there are some things that I feel like I grew, because people ask me all the time, how did you get to where you're at or you're thinking? And my mom is amazing in a lot of ways. But there are also things that I now look back on, like, okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to communicate like that. And it boils down to the generational trauma going to the next cycle, and the cycle not be broken. I carried some of that on to my marriage. And I can honestly say that, like, I would, so I grew up in a old school Democrat household. It wasn't until I went to the military is whenever I started to think for myself and become a conservative. And so
That's very interesting that you changed that much. That's crazy.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, totally. Like, I'm telling you, like, my parents are diehard, old school Democrat. Internet, don't come after me. I even voted. Actually, I don't care. You can't cancel someone that don't care.
No. No.
I actually voted for Obama the first time. I was 19 in the military. It was, oh, it's something new, great. The charisma change. Because I
Christmas.
wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking, I didn't know any
Yeah.
better. And obviously the second term I did not. And obviously there on after I became a conservative.
Right.
But with that, so I didn't grow up in a home learning how to communicate. I watched my mom talk down to my dad, and my dad would give it back to her too. So he wasn't innocent in all this. But and so in 2022 there was a family vacation, and I felt like with all this change that was going on with me, this inner work, this mindset, it kind of all just came to a head. And I pray about it all the time that we can rekindle. I don't know if we ever will. I love
You haven't
them.
spoken to them at all since 2022? Oh my
I'm
God.
blocked. I'm blocked. And I know it's not so if I can go back and do things over again, I would have done it completely differently. Should I have said what I said when I said it, or should it have been a different time? Also, too, in the past, I've been hot-headed in the past, a quick, like, lashing out. And it's something that I really they were learned behaviors, and I had to work on that.
Unlearn them.
The first thing of it all is accountability. You have to be accountable for your actions. So again,
In
like I said,
everything.
I'm not gonna speak to my ex-husband's side on how I felt I was hurt, but for me to own my side, I would talk down to him. I would compete with him in all different ways. We both were active duty. For a very small moment, I outranked him because I came in before him.
Oh, jeez.
And I made sure he knew it. Just all these different ways. I mean, it hurts my heart to even say that, but it's part of my story. And I had to acknowledge those things, justify my actions. Oh, you hurt me, so I'm going to hurt you back tenfold.
Yeah.
Manipulative. Like I said, the whole Jezebel. But going back to I done forgot your original. Girl, I'm telling you, I could go off.
It's fine. Do you think modern feminism is creating unrealistic expectations for marriage?
Yes, and I said there's no expectations. So you have these women talking down to their husband. Like there's no the old me when I was younger, especially how I grew up. If I heard the word submission,
Yeah.
He's gonna tell me what I need to do. Like, oh no, I had that mentality. No one's like, I'm gonna make all this money. I'm gonna work hard, independent, because I was raised that way. My dad raised me never depend on a man to take care of you. And while to an extent I agree with that, like a woman should know how to take care of herself if she has to, because you never know what life's gonna throw at you. And I think for a man, I also think for a man, they do find it attractive that a woman has a good head on her shoulders and can, take care of herself. Also be resourceful. It's even in the Bible, Proverbs 31, to be resourceful. And so I think that to a T, we have just gone the complete opposite.
I also
and I know
think
sometimes
there's a switch too, and people don't know how to switch it on and off.
Yes, exactly. I was actually just having a friend of mine was talking to me the other day about that, about me, like with the dating. Obviously, I'm not dating anyone. I don't date. Like I'm like the most sociable, antisociable person ever. I literally no. I'm like, I don't want no part of that.
People, I don't want to do that.
What? I'd rather be in my pajamas on the couch watching a crime documentary or something.
You're a crime girl too, girl.
Yeah, I do. I do. I love them, but
me too.
Again, see, I done forgot where I was going with that.
I know a friend the other day.
Oh, the friend. So talking about like being basically, I forget how he worded it, but basically being with a man who was not like the masculine person. And I told him, I was like, you know what? I can be however you allow me to be. Like, I can be masculine. I can be Miss Independent, stubborn. I can do all that. Make my own. I can be that person. But if you could have me turn that switch off, and I don't have to sit here and think. I literally make decisions all day. I think one thing that I did not do in my marriage that now moving forward, I did not allow my husband to lead. I did not allow him to be that leader. I do think, and I get kicked back sometimes when I've talked about this stuff in the past. I think at the end of the day, if you were choosing for that man to be your husband, your partner, he is the head of the household. He is the final decision maker. Now, if it's a big decision like buying a car, like, yeah, y'all talk
There's
about
obviously
it.
conversation, obviously.
For sure. But I think I have to trust in him that he's going to make the best decision for the greater good of all of us. And I feel like that with modern feminism and all that, it's like, no, I make money too. And I know some families have to have dual incomes.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know I could never not be that type of person that did not have some sort of money coming in. That's just
Oh my
how
God,
I am.
I would go insane. There's no way.
Yes. Yeah. So I would always do that, but I just feel like now everything is, oh, I make my own money. You're not going to tell me what to do. And, it's just crazy how it's just tanked.
It's okay. So like in my head, I am like, my husband leads. He always has.
And I can tell by how I can tell. And
Thank you.
That.
Because I always am like, am I portraying like what I'm trying to say? Because sometimes I'm like, I hope this point's being made because, oh my God.
I think you do a great job of that.
Thank you. Yeah. My husband leads, but when I say this to him, how do I say this? He kind of gives me a funny look. Like, what do you mean? Because that man thinks of me as his equal, and he never thinks that he's leading me, but subconsciously he is, and he doesn't even realize how much he is leading me.
Yeah. Well, because
if that makes sense.
The whole masculine, feminine energy, like you guys must do a really good job with. I mean, we all have masculine and feminine traits. We all do.
Yep.
But you guys probably do a good job at this point of, working simultaneously together.
Exactly. And it's also interesting, like when I said about like the switch, like flipping the switch.
Yes.
I'm in my masculine when he's not home. As soon as he walks through that door, I'm like, oh, I can't do shit.
Isn't that funny? Like, if he's not home, like he'd like move the freaking TV, but he's there like, can you please help me? Can you grab the glass off the shelf? Oh, I know. I'm totally like that.
Okay.
Do you know what? Oh my gosh. What I used to do to Jose, I remember back, and then he caught on eventually, but I remember if there was something I couldn't get done or whatever, or didn't want to do, like say if I don't know, I'm just going to say something random, like putting together something.
A desk.
I'd be like,
I'm going to do it wrong on purpose.
Like, could you help me with this real quick? And I knew once he would start it, he's the time he's got to finish it. And then once I would see that tongue go out, like I'm like, yes, thank you. Then he caught on,
Manipulation. Just kidding.
Oh, there you go.
He's so much better at that shit than me, and he doesn't get as angry as I do.
Right? I know. It's like they're just more patient with that stuff.
I know.
I don't know.
I just get irate. I'm like, oh, girl, you need to calm down.
Yep. And well, and that was another thing too, that conversation that I was talking about that we were having. And when I say a man that's strong, I'm not saying that they have to like outlift me. I don't mean strong like that. Just like, say if I don't know, there's at 3 a.m. like the alarm's going off, or there's something downstairs, like you're gonna go down and like go help your family, not expect me to go down, like, honey, Haley, go check it out.
No, like that literally happened the other day. Not an alarm, but we had a bat fly into our house. So our cousin Kevin leaves at like 4:45, and he opens the door, and I hear, God damn it. at like 4 a.m. I'm like, what is happening? And then I hear him walk over to our room and he's like, Zach, if you're awake, I need you right now. And I've never seen Zach get up so fast in my life. And then he shuts the door. The dogs are in our room. And I walk out like barely cognitive of what's going on. And Kevin's like, there's a bat. It was in your wreath on the front door and it flew in and I didn't see where it went. And I'm like, I'm so glad Zach was like alert enough for this situation. I was not like... Save me, please.
You're right. Exactly. I know.
It's like, I'm so glad you're alive. I was not. Oh my God.
I just feel like society has tried to like kill masculinity. We need more masculinity, not less.
Please bring back the masculine in men.
Yes.
Please.
But feminism has killed that. Social media, like it's all, you know.
It's toxic.
No. Someone had pointed this out, and yes, I agree. And I know in my last video I had put about the toxic femininity just because I'm addressing women in this. I know, and again, like what we talked about, people don't put their critical thinking caps on. And yes, I know it goes on both sides.
If you did that, it would be a 10-minute long video. Like, do you want me to? Do you have an attention span of that? No, we're just addressing the femininity of this problem. We'll talk about masculinity later. Okay? Like,
yeah, right. Exactly. Like, oh, there's no toxic for gender. There's just toxic people. I'm like, yeah, I know that, Chris. Like, thank you.
Thanks, Christopher. Jeez. Oh my God. Looking back on your marriage, do you think it is more encouraged for women to just like walk away from a marriage or a relationship than fixing it?
No. I see so many people going through marriage issues and the divorce rate's sky high. I'm gonna tell you this, especially being a parent, being a single mom is not a badge of honor. I feel like social media portrays it like being a single mom is a badge of honor. If you can't work things out, let's move on to something better. Now, I know there are circumstances where you're in an abusive, emotional, physical.
Yes.
There's no change in that. I know. So I'm not speaking to those people. And I know sometimes divorce is warranted. But I think a lot of time it's, again, like we talked about earlier, the grass looks greener over there. No, go water it on your side of the fence.
Put some fertilizer in your grass. See what the fuck happens. Okay, put a little sunshine on it and some water and it'll be better.
And so the old me is completely different than the new me. I didn't even look at, and again, part of this, my parents have been married almost 40 years. They've been together over 40, but married almost 40. Do I think that they should have been together all these years? Probably not. Maybe growing up, I wish they would have gotten divorced. However, I think whenever I was going through my issues, I looked at them like, oh, well, I'm so unhappy, but I don't want to be like that, you know? But that was not a good way of thinking. I remember thinking, it's a piece of paper. It doesn't, no, like it's so much more. It's a covenant with God. It's a covenant with God. It's not a piece of paper.
It makes me angry when people say that.
It does me now. Like I didn't think that way before, and it's cringy. It makes my stomach hurt. Even saying that I used to think that way, but again, it's part of my testimony. Yeah. Now, to me, marriage is sacred. Like whoever I end up with in this life, whoever God has for me, like it is forever. Like, we are not ending this. Like people give up way too easily.
Oh my God. That man, literally, I'm going to be in the ground before I ever think about leaving him. And people be like, oh, just wait 20 years. You'll fucking hate him. I'm sorry. No. Here's my other thing. His parents and my parents. Oh my God. That shit makes me so angry. That makes me angry. Yep. His parents and my parents both got married in 1983. Still married. Still love each other very much. My mom and dad are obsessed with each other. His mom and dad are obsessed with each other. Like, yeah, they bicker. Obviously, they're...
Well, that's normal. You know,
they've been together 40 plus years. Like, they all hit... I think they all started dating at the same year, too, in 1980. So, like, literally, like, it's weird. It's very weird. Yeah. His parents got married in March, and my parents got married in July. And it's...
Wow.
it's so weird to think like we both have that dynamic of a healthy marriage where nobody got divorced and like his grandparents were together 60 plus years, so were mine.
Yep.
And it's like
That's
that is
amazing.
so rare. That never
It is.
happens. And like
Yep.
the fact that we both had that.
Yep. Well, I say like that you have that as a foundation. You have God in your home together. You guys are both as equally as yoked with each other. I think that's important
Yep.
too. So you guys have two very strong pillars of foundation
Oh,
there.
absolutely.
And so I think that's
big time.
what a lot of people have gotten away from, you know.
The strong family dynamic. Like we are a family before anything else. That man's opinion matters more to me than anybody else's opinion, and I don't give a
As it should.
flying fuck what anybody else says.
Yeah.
I don't care.
No, I
It's
mean
just-
that's how it should be. That's how it should
Yeah.
be. I see some of the comments that people will leave under my videos, like the one about the toxic femininity, and some of these men that will talk about like what their wives did to them. And I'm like, I mean, I've done some crappy things in my past, but I'm like reading like I would have never
No.
imagined
you
acting
know,
that way.
Reading those comments, they make me so sad because coming in a healthy relationship and thinking that there are people evil enough to do things that conniving and that brutal to somebody is just mind-boggling to me.
It
But
is.
also, being this devil's advocate, are there things that these people are doing to create that monster? You know?
I know it does. It does kind of. I know it does kind of go both ways. It does kind of go both ways because I also I know we haven't really
Obviously, there
touched
are
on this.
shitty ass people. There are.
For sure.
But
For sure. But trust
you
me,
wonder.
out of all the people that comment under my videos, I know not all of them are angels. You know, like, oh, my wife was so horrible. She did all these things. What did you also do? You
yeah,
know?
we need to look inward. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, I know there for a fact. I have 5 or 6 people that comment literally on every single one of my videos. They're like, they're my ride or die. I love them.
I know. Same here.
I know. It's so funny to me. Like, I know their stories, and granted, it is only their side, but I believe them. Just the stuff that they tell me,
Yep.
what do you mean that happened to you? I'm so sorry that happened to you. But there are toxic women out there. There's very toxic men out there too.
Oh, for
I'm not
sure.
saying
For
that,
sure.
you know, I'm just saying. It's just the amount of toxic things that happen in relationships and people allow it to happen. That's the thing that's really, really sad to me. And they stay. And I know a lot of people stay because they have children and, you know, everything, they'd lose everything. I get that. But at the end of the day, do you want to die and go to your deathbed and be like, I was miserable as shit for my entire life? Like, why would
that's
you want that?
That's a thing too that at the time when I had left, that's how I was thinking. That was my mentality, which I do agree. You don't want to be miserable, you know.
No.
However, now that I know what I know now, looking back, neither one of us put forth the effort that needed to happen, you know, to save our marriage. So if I know you can't go back, if I could go back in time, it'd be completely different. I probably wouldn't be sitting here in this moment like I am. So it's like, would I be the woman of God that I am today?
Yeah.
If I didn't go through all that, because I know we haven't really touched on this, but after I had left and I came here to Austin, Wes and it was probably about 6 months in, I didn't like neither one of us realized like when you fall for someone, like he went through his drawn out horrible long like years of a divorce, separation. It was horrible. I'm not going to talk about his personal business. On here, but, him and I dated off and on. What I did not do is when I got divorced, I jumped right into a new life and into a toxic cycle. So instead of working on myself and repairing and bettering myself, I jumped right into a toxic cycle. And what did that do? Turmoil. Now looking back, so it's the enemy was pulling at me. The enemy did not want me to get closer to God. There was even friendships. Now looking back, I didn't understand why they ended, like, they ended in certain ways, and
Mm-hmm.
now I know why they ended, because they
Mm-hmm.
were preventing me from getting to where I am today. And
Yeah.
everyone has free will to make their own choices, you know. And
And it's interesting that was your reality. I had a boyfriend when I met Zach, which is so fucked up. I would never condone that behavior now, but I was 19
I,
years old. For the record, okay?
yeah,
I was not smart.
yeah.
I was in two of the most toxic relationships I can even fathom. And I went from toxic to healthy immediately. Like, there was no pause in between. And the amount of growth that I have come out of that is
Oh, I bet.
mind-boggling.
I bet.
And we grew together, obviously. It's kind of, clear, but it's so strange how everybody will say to me, well, you probably should have had a time between that. I'm like, I know, but the guy that I married helped me push who I am today. And obviously I did a lot of that shit myself, obviously, but he encouraged me to grow and to move past things. And, it's that reality to me is crazy
Yep. And you
that
know what, too?
I went into such a healthy relationship. And at first, for 5 years, I was like, is this real? Like, I don't.
Yeah, like, don't start self-sabotaging.
Oh, I did. I did
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
And it was like, I needed affirmation so bad. So bad. That trauma was bad.
Yeah, I bet. I know. I've been there. But,
It was so bad.
you said something, actually. It actually brings up a good point. I had seen someone talk about it was a young creator, I forget who it was, but basically saying she got a lot of flack for being married younger. And to kind of piggyback off of what you just
Is this
said,
Savannah
if you
Stone?
I don't
She's got
remember.
dark hair, black hair, really cute. She's like 19.
Maybe it might have been. I don't remember.
I'm
Honestly, I thought she had
interviewing her
blonde hair.
tomorrow.
Oh, are you? I thought she had blonde hair, but
Oh, maybe
um
not. Maybe it's not the
but I
same
could
girl
be
then.
completely wrong. But I remember thinking, like, she said she gets a lot of flack for being young. Oh, you didn't get to experience life. No, what
That's
do you mean?
literally what she gets. So it might be somebody else. I don't know.
So what do you mean? The worldly ways influencing bad behavior? So you find
Yeah.
someone young who is a godly man, y'all can grow together, who loves and cherishes you and values you. That's wrong? No,
Yeah.
I don't buy into that. I don't
No.
like when people say that.
No. No.
The whole experience. I had a friend of mine, and I'm not gonna say who because she'll probably see this, but telling me like, oh, you should just go have fun, like go have fun. And like, I'm not gonna judge her walk with Christ. I don't know her walk with Christ, or if any at all, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't think that way. I don't want to go sleep. I actually have a promise to God of being abstinent until I'm married. Like
Hell yeah.
like like I don't know. I can't. I've done that. I've had situationships. It leaves you unfulfilled, and I get attached. And all thinking back, like
Oh my God, I
situationships, and
fall so hard and so
I do.
fast. Like that never worked
Yes.
for me. I was always like
No.
I have to be in a relationship person.
Yes. No, I'm a relationship person too, and it's not that I need a man. I don't need a man. I
No,
want a man.
there's a
God didn't
difference.
design us to be apart. God
Correct.
designed man and woman for a reason.
Yep.
Know?
Yep.
And I feel like society has gotten away from all that. And I feel like the more money women make and become these boss babes, oh, I can do, yeah, you can technically do
Sure.
all those things for
Sure.
yourself. But why would you want to?
I don't
I
know.
can't wrap my mind around that. And the old me did kind of think that way. I remember, you can see it on my Instagram. I don't know if it's on TikTok, the Indigo song, the Sam Barber. I
Yeah,
did the
that's a good
flip
song.
flop. I flipped
Oh
it.
yeah.
So there was a video that honestly, it was not meant for me to put on social media. I took a video. I was having a mental breakdown before Adrian got off the school bus, and I was anxious and full of anxiety. Girl, I was full of Botox, but I was like, oh, I feel so good. I get complimented, the ego talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
making over 100 grand a year myself, no college degree, single mom, raking in money, driving a nice luxury car, all, like no, but I was unhappy, I was unfulfilled because I didn't have God's love. But on the outside, to everyone, it looked like I had it all, you know. And then when I got baptized, it showed the flip. I've always been an active, athletic person, but it's like the flip. You could see the night and day difference. And some people had commented like, "Why are you posting a video of you crying? Oh, it's attention seeking." No, Karen. I had it in my archives for me to go back and look on. A year from now, you're going to be in a much different position
for me.
And I was.
I think I saw that video. Was it in April?
Probably, because it was, I think, around when I had my anniversary of being baptized. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw that video. I thought that was so sweet, though. I was like, oh, I love that she kept that.
Oh, I know, it was in my, like,
as messed up as that sounds, I thought it was great. I was like, that's really, I mean, it's growth.
Yep. It is, for sure.
Yeah,
sure.
You do. You see it, and it's very fascinating, even just to see what you were like a year ago. Ooh, I love this question.
Oh.
Are single moms unintentionally raising boys to struggle in relationships later?
Yes. I would say, I don't think that.
Not you.
I know. I do think I'm definitely the exception. So I definitely think, I'm not going to say all, I think there are a few that maybe don't realize that they're doing it. And then I think there's the other half that's like the He-Man haters, like what was it called, from Little Rascal or whatever. Remember that?
Yeah.
I never forgot the scene, but you know what I'm talking about. Those women who are like anti-men.
Is it He-Man hater?
He-Man, I think it is He-Man hater.
I'm gonna look it up. I need to look it up.
All right. I think it is He-Man hater.
I think it is too. He-Man Haters Club.
Yes, I knew it.
Yeah. Oh my God, I loved that movie.
I know, I did too. Darla.
Yeah.
Come here, Darla.
Hi, Darla.
Oh, really? We're showing our age.
I know.
Yeah. But with that though, yeah. So women are not designed to raise little boys all by themselves. Jose and I have such a unique dynamic that even whenever he lived in Philly and we were in Texas, we would still fly back and forth. I would fly Adrian, he would come all the holidays. So they still had a very close relationship.
That's good.
He's an amazing father. I couldn't ask for a better father for Adrian. And we co-parent very well. We are the same type of parent.
That's great.
When it comes to, obviously he's the disciplinarian more and I'm more the nurturer, but we've always been in line with stuff like nutrition, the health, all the things. And I think that's important.
It is.
But you get these women who I feel like they're so scorned. And actually, literally right before we got on, I made a TikTok about women weaponizing their children against the fathers. I haven't even checked to see the comments or anything yet. I'm anticipating it's going to be
it's going to be a doozy.
But it's one of those things, and I just had a conversation with a friend about this. You see it, I've seen it with the mothers of my brother's children. I've seen it with them. You hear about it all the time. Fathers being used against the children, in creating basically what they don't realize. It's their pride and ego getting in the way.
Absolutely.
Are they really an absent father, or are you creating that barricade to make that? And honestly, as bad as it sounds, I know there's some men who have tried and tried and tried all these years, and the mothers have made it so hellacious that they have no choice but to just, you know what, I gotta wash my hands until they're of age.
Yep.
I've seen it happen, and it's horrible. And a lot of these women, it's their own toxic pride and ego. And so I think a lot of the single moms, it's weird because I've been in this situation. Yeah. So it's really hard to speak on because I don't put myself in that category. My son is a very masculine boy. He has very strong principles. He'll pull my chair out. He opens the doors for me. He'll open my car door. even ever since he was little, picking me flowers, and he'll
What
just
a
look at me,
sweetheart.
Mommy, you're so beautiful,
Oh,
so
honey.
but he also too will stand up. Like, I know if something went down and his dad wasn't around, or if I didn't have a male presence,
Yeah.
that boy would stand up. Like, that boy would take a bullet for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how he is. He is he's very observant. He sticks up
Situationally
for
aware.
people. Yes, very observant. He sees through BS. He stands up for people around him.
That's
He doesn't
amazing.
allow, people. He's been bullied and picked on. In the school we were at last year, the boy was in fights all the time. There's actually, I'm going to say this, I was so proud of him. I'm not going to say what this boy said. It was very sexual and vulgar about me to my son. And in my mind, I'm thinking at the time, fifth grade, keep in mind, 11 years old. I'm like, how did they even know what that was? But when the principal called me and told me, I could tell she was uncomfortable telling me.
Oh.
So my son tried to get him there, and he took off running. It was in one of the classes, and then they go to recess, and my son walked up to him and acted like he was going to give him a hug. He clocked him, decked him in the face, and said, "Don't you talk about my mom like that ever again."
Good.
Knocked him out.
Good.
Of course, he got suspended, and we went to Target and got
I was going to say,
toy.
I hope you took him to ice cream or something.
I think we probably got like a boba tea or something.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I had one of those one time and I will never have it again. It creeps me out. I don't know why.
What, the boba tea? I know. I'm not a fan of them either.
It's just I'm not even a texture person and they weird me out.
Honestly, I'm always afraid I'm gonna like inhale the boba and like choke on it.
Yeah. Like, what's the plastic doing in my stomach? Ew. Do you think fathers are undervalued in those conversations? Like with single moms, obviously, I think they are, but
Tenfold, for sure. Oh, for sure. I think
fathers are not worth it in so many people's societies, and it's like there are reasons that fathers have roles.
But that's the thing. There's a reason a man and woman, there should be the mother and the father in the ideal situation. That's how it should be, because mothers are more of the nurturing per se. I feel like women have made little boys, especially a lot of single moms, have made their boys more feminine. That's a big contributor to the lack of masculinity in the society. And fathers, I feel like they are the disciplinarians. And I've talked about this in a video before. If you get married to someone and they have children, those now become your children. It's all one. It's not, oh, those are your children, these are my children.
Correct.
Oh, you can't parent my son. I'm sorry. If I was married to someone and my son was being a little turd, I expect my husband to step in and correct that. I'm not going to call him out on that. I think fathers are completely undervalued and don't get enough credit. The providing, there's a lot of things that fathers teach boys and girls that moms, not saying that they can't, because again, people will flip words. Oh, I know how to change a tire.
He says these things. Oh God.
Remember, they're not putting their critical thinking cap on.
Logic is not a thing, okay?
All right. But there are a lot of things that fathers can teach both girls and boys that moms can't, or maybe not as good as.
Like, for example, my father taught me the value of having good character and integrity and a hard work ethic. My mom obviously worked my entire life. She worked my entire childhood, but my dad was a farmer. What do you think comes with that? Hard work, integrity, and showing your character, who you are as a person. Those go hand in hand. Like, that is so important. And not just as a farmer, just in general.
Yep.
But, there is such a big problem that people think that fathers are just, they don't matter.
Almost like
sitcoms. Think about those sitcoms back when we were younger. Like, how many of those fathers look stupid? I know they're funny, but they're really not. If you think about it psychologically, the dad always looked like a fucking idiot. And that bothers me so much.
I know.
Like,
and I hate it too. Fathers not getting credit. Like, one thing I will say about Jose and I that we've always worked well with on is, like, for instance, the COVID vaccine. We both were on board our son not getting the COVID vaccine. I know moms who went behind the father's back. Yes, a girl, we would have been swinging. I would have been in jail. I would have been in jail if that would have happened.
What?
Yes, I feel like moms, and the internet can come after me for this. I don't care, because I always get called the pick me girl all the time.
Oh my God, me too. I did get picked.
I know, I did too. But I feel like moms think just because they gave birth or carried the baby that they are the decision maker for that child. It is also half the dad's decision also. I know there's
He
a
was
different type of...
involved in making that kid. Did you know that?
Yes, exactly. That's why I actually said this in my video today about these women who pinpoint these fathers and weaponize these fathers, or the kids with the fathers. You're teaching them to hate a part of themselves as they get older, to where they don't like talk about adults, trauma, adult psychological issues. Like, I just don't, for the life of me, I can't wrap my mind around some of these women who do those things.
Like, why are we pitting him against your father? Why is that a thing?
Or making the jabs in front of the kids that, even though you're not saying, oh, your dad is bad, but you're saying comments that they will put the pieces together.
Yep. Now, if they are a piece of shit, say it in your head.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't say this shit out loud. Just stop.
Unless they are physically abusive or doing drugs in front of your child, like putting them in danger, like doing drug deals. I don't care if he was a horrible romantic partner to you. He could have cheated on you. He could have drained all the money. He could have gambled it away. Whatever. You need to put the pride away. That does not make him a bad father. Until he puts those kids in danger or he is abusive to them. It doesn't matter.
Does he want to be present?
Yes.
That's effort.
Yep.
Okay. Let it be.
And one thing that kills me too is that you also hear about this when the man does move on and he has a new woman.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden all the the claws come out.
Oh, daddy's girlfriend ain't shit.
Yep.
And,
honestly, a lot of
and then if those women are like wonderful to your children, you should be ecstatic.
Yes.
You should be ecstatic.
I agree.
Because he has another female in their life that want to be present and want to be there for your child.
To be another good role model for them. I know.
What?
It's the small-minded, immature thinking. So many unhealed people walking around. So many issues that don't need to be hop into another relationship, like fix
also
yourself.
Stop having children if you can't be an adult.
Exactly. I know. There's so many contributing factors. So like we literally can go all different ways with that.
Yes.
But I just hate, at the end of the day, I hate to see scorned women weaponize the kids or the father, the kids,
and it happens
like turn them against them.
a lot.
Yep, it does.
And it's terrifying how often it happens. Like you very rarely, I think like how you guys have a good co-parenting relationship. I feel like that is more rare.
Oh, it is. People, when we're around each other, like people think that we're married. Like people at the soccer team, they had no idea till we told them that, we're not married. They're like, what? Like you get along better than what we do, we do. We co-parent very well. And that's one thing in this life. I'm not perfect, but I can say that we do very well at co-parenting.
That is such a refreshing take, honestly, just because like you never see that ever. Yeah. Ooh, here's a fun one. Is the idea of a high value man and woman damaging the way people approach relationships?
Oh, that's a good one. Yes, I think, how do I want to answer this one? I think when it comes to the high value, first off, I think some people
People's definitions are different too.
I was just, you literally just took the words right out of my mouth. Some people are say they're high value, and I'm like, maybe at Dollar General, like
what are you bringing to the table? Because I don't think you're bringing shit.
Like it's the Temu version,
the Wish version. It's not even Temu, it's Wish.
What is Wish?
You don't know what Wish is?
Wait, I don't know. Maybe. Wait,
Wish
refresh my memory.
Wish was like, oh my God, like 15 years ago, Wish was a thing. Like, Wish was before Shein and Temu. Like, Wish was like, it would take a month and a half to get to you.
I feel like I know what you're talking about. Did it come like a little catalog? Like, was there like a little catalog?
Yes. And it was janky shit.
I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember it being called Wish, but I do feel like a lot of people do. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have self-respect for yourself. It's good to have self-respect, but you need to be realistic, because if you're sitting there saying, "Oh, I bring all this to the table," no. Honey.
Also, a pretty face fades. What else are you bringing?
Exactly. I think so many people get wrapped up into that, though. You ask people about dating, like they're immediate, and I get it. Being attracted to someone, people lie when they say, "Oh, looks don't matter." They kind of do to an extent.
They do. I think you have to have an initial first connection with somebody, like, oh, they're cute. Like, you're going to have that initial physical attraction to somebody. That's just human nature.
Yep. But I think people focus so much, instead of having the hard questions, asking, they just ask like surface level questions. Oh, what's your favorite color? Where did you grow up? Not like, oh, what are your religious
what are your
values?
morals?
What are your political values? How do you want to raise children? Do you want children?
Yes.
Which
people don't have those conversations anymore. Like,
no.
What do you mean you don't know if you want kids or not? You've been together 10 years.
Why?
What do you mean?
You know why? I think with a lot of that, and my eyes were not open to it until now. And I've been guilty of this in the past too. People lead with lust. They lead with lust, and that's why. And I didn't realize, I saw a reel on this. I was like, wow, that was a huge eye opener.
Yeah.
And I felt trapped to this when I started dating Wes. I idolized that man. I put him on a pedestal. I did everything for him. Ran his businesses, cooked, cleaned, took care of the dogs, sexually, like all the things. Like, I worshiped the ground he walked on. I put him on a pedestal when he did not need to be. He basically got everything without that the commitment. That's a whole other story, but I feel like people lead with less. So then, once that barrier is broken, that's a hard thing to counteract, that sexual tension with someone. And I feel like so many people get used to that, they fall into that, and then now they're hooked, and they think that they're in love. Not saying that they don't love the person, but they think that they can't live without this person. So something that someone told me a long time ago, and I share this with other people: red flags are not pink flags. We disguise them as pink flags. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. The sex is good. He makes me feel good this way. Like, oh, I'm in love with him. But meanwhile, like, complete polar opposite values. And I think
that make you feel safe.
Exactly. Emotionally, physically, all of that. So I think a lot of people lead with lust, and I think that is a huge contribution to failing relationships.
They also don't. I feel like a lot of people have tunnel vision, where it's just, they're not looking for longevity. It's just, what am I wanting right now? There's nothing that I'm thinking of in the future. And like, if I were to ask my husband, what's your future plan? This man's got like 40 years planned out. Maybe not that long. He thinks he's going to die at 50, which is fucked up, but
no, that's not that far away.
Dude, he says that all the time. I'm like, I don't like that. Stop saying that shit. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
No.
I'm going to be 100. You got to live with me, bud. Like,
yeah. He's gonna be 101.
Oh, he would hate that.
The typical blue collar guy. I know.
Girl,
why are they all like that?
The amount of bones this man has broken is not funny.
I know. I believe
all of it from motocross. All of it.
I believe it.
He's at like 33 bones, 34 bones.
Oh my goodness.
He's raced motocross since he was 3. So like,
wow.
But still. And he just had his back broken in January, so like
Oh, yeah, no big deal. You know.
snowmobile. It's like, okay. That's the other thing that people don't think about. It's like when you want to look for somebody to marry, can you do hard shit and get through that hard shit with that person? And if the answer is no, don't marry them.
Yep.
Because
I know,
I
I
had a
completely
comment
agree.
about that the other day. I was so irritated. Like, I don't normally let comments bother me, but this person was like, oh, your husband's going to be down on his luck and you're just going to leave. I'm like, well, he literally had 3 broken vertebrae and his spleen had a contusion and he had all this other shit happen to him in January. I would have wiped his ass. If he couldn't have done it himself, I would have done it.
That's the whole sickness and health, death do us part. Like you know what I can tell? Like obviously I've never met your husband. I've seen very brief, clips of him in your videos. You can tell you are so in love with him. I can't stand when I hear, and this, my mother used to say this about my dad all the time, like, oh, you're so annoying. The way you do that, the way, like, y'all are going to nitpick sometimes. That's normal. And things are going to, I can't stand hearing people chew their food. I can't stand to hear that. But
No.
whenever you see those people, I cannot stand to see women get online and like make fun of their husband or significant other for the sake of likes and views. Like you're literally making fun of them and cutting them down. Like if I could throat punch someone through the screen,
I would have gone to jail a long time ago.
In a heartbeat. I can't stand it.
My thing is like talking negatively about your spouse is one thing, but you're publicly going on a public platform and talking about these things. That in itself is concerning because one, it's permanent. It's on the internet. Someone saved that video. Someone recorded it. It's on some dark web website somewhere.
Yep.
It's never going away.
Yep.
It's one thing when you have banter back and forth with each other, but when you're saying that shit online, I'm going to bet you money that man probably doesn't think it's funny.
No. And that's what I grew up with. Like, that's how, like,
sad.
It is. My mom would do things to like some good things, like laundry was always done, the house taken care of. 5:30 dinner was on the table when my dad came through the door. It was no matter if they were arguing, how was your day? Like, so there were good things, of course.
Yeah.
My dad was at every game. My brother and I both played sports, so sometimes they'd have to separate. But like I remember we made it to the softball nationals, and it ended up being in Carbondale, Illinois. So I'm from Illinois. And so it was about a 3-hour drive. My dad, I didn't realize the sacrifices he made because he did not want to miss work because it took away from feeding 4 kids, as 6 people in the family. He would drive 3 hours one way just to see one game and drive 3 hours back so he could get a half day of work. Like things like that. Like he would come in his construction clothes. I remember he came to an awards ceremony, and I got some awards. My mom didn't come, and I didn't realize at the time she had her own social anxiety and things that she had not worked through. And so I've always tried to have grace for her, losing my brother, her, losing a son, things of that nature. But she wasn't there. My dad was there in his construction clothes. Like I don't forget those things. And so I don't know. I just have a soft spot in my heart. When I made that video about the blue collar men, about the 105 degrees in Texas, and there were other men on there who were like, well, what about, why does it have to be blue collar? Like, I'm a whatever, I don't remember what they said, but like they work in an office all day. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I said blue collar because I was driving and I saw these people out in the 105-degree weather multiple times. I had to drive back and forth that road, and I saw the same people. Yep. And so it made me think of blue-collar people working outside because that's how I grew up. My dad did that all year round.
You're also like, that's a life you live. That is something that you can relate to. It's like people get mad at me. They're like, why do you always talk about blue collar? My husband is blue collar. My father was a farmer. I literally grew up in that shit. Like, it's just my life. I'm not making stuff up.
And that's, again, the critical thinking cap. And I have to tell some people.
Are you going to tell a chef to stop fucking making chef videos on the internet because you're sick of looking at making chicken? Then scroll.
I know. Well, and that's what I was telling them. Like, it literally, like, use your thinking skills here. It applies to any hardworking man. I don't care if you're behind a desk.
Yep.
If you are teaching a class, if you are outside, if you are a banker. I don't care what it is. You could be a cashier at the 7-Eleven. I don't care.
It doesn't matter. Oh, I also love the comments that are, so just because your husband is in construction, why do you have to make it your entire personality?
Oh, gosh.
Well, here's the thing. I'm obsessed with my husband, and anybody that follows me can kind of fucking tell that.
And I love that.
I love him. That man is my best fucking friend. That man is,
as he should be,
literally the only person in my life that I would die for. He is also the only person that I would live for. So why wouldn't it make sense for me to make it my entire personality? If he worked at fucking McDonald's, I'd be making videos about him working at McDonald's, okay? Like, flip that burger, babe. Like, come on.
Yep. Oh, you know, this just made me think of another thing. I've seen this before too. Women complaining about how much money their husband makes. I could not imagine telling my husband, you need to make more money.
You know what?
Like,
when I quit my job last year to pursue virtual assisting, which was the scariest shit I've ever done in my life, I would have never done it without Zach. I would have never done it. Ever. He straight up looks at me dead in the eye and he's like, I will work 3 times as hard to make sure that this actually happens. I believe so hard in that. And I told him, I said, do you know what this makes me feel like? And he's like, what? I said, quitting my job feels like I'm jumping out of a perfectly good plane without a parachute. And he looks at me and I'm going to cry. He goes, do you think I would let you land?
oh my goodness.
Me? Like, what? I have made it my life goal that he doesn't have to work like that. He doesn't. Because I am making the same amount of money, if not a little more, than I did working a 9, or well, it was like an 8 to 8 job. And I work less hours. I can do so much more shit. I work like 30 hours a week tops.
Well, you just brought up a good point, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. So you have an income, you do your own thing, you're resourceful, you are, helping provide, but you're not wearing the pants in the family. You're not, I make my own money. You're not going to tell me what to do. Like, you allow him to lead. I think that's what we talked about earlier. Women cannot make that can't distinguish between the roles with that.
No, they can't.
That's fine. Make your money, be independent to a degree. An extent. Yeah.
Yep. Because now my husband has somebody who isn't crying constantly every single night. I would have a mental breakdown every single night. And he's like, when are you quitting your job?
Oh.
Please, when are you quitting your job? And I'm like, I can't. We can't do this. And he goes, yes, you can. I am never going to let this happen.
He knew he would do, and that's what a husband, like, he knew he wanted you happy, less stressed, because in the end, it's going to help him.
Oh my God, the domino effect. I am so much happier now. He comes in and I'm just like, the house is clean as hell. I mean, granted, I did this shit anyways, but like, I was so overstimulated every single day. I felt like a crazy person. Now, thinking about this, I'm like, you know what? If we wanted a child, which we've talked about this recently, like we're leaning more towards probably in the next year or maybe. I have more time for that. I could stop what I'm doing. I literally can work wherever the hell I want to work. My mother-in-law literally lives 100 yards away from us, and she
I
already
love
has
that.
said 100 times, I will watch your child. It does not matter. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And I love his mom. His mom and I have the
Aw.
best relationship,
Oh,
like
I love that. I love that.
ever. And his sister, my best friend. Like, we have such a good foundation. But where I was going with that, I have so much more time for myself. I have so much more time to run errands. I don't have to like feel guilty about anything now because I don't have to ask someone's permission to go on a trip if I wanted to go on a trip.
Yep.
You know?
Well, that's the whole point of working together. That's how it should be, working
Yes.
together for the
Yes.
greater good of it all, not combating
Yes.
against each other and,
No.
me against you, you against me. Like,
And now my dream is I want to make enough money that I can have him retire himself and then like get his own company going so he doesn't have to work for somebody else.
yes, yep.
Or this is the fun idea that I have had since he's been in motocross his whole life. He's always joked about me being a monster girl. And I was like, well, you could be an operator pushing dirt for Dirtworks, and I could be a Monster Energy girl. Can you imagine the TikToks?
Oh my gosh, yes.
That would be such a dynamic. My God.
Yeah, yeah. Check.
That would be so much fun. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me?
I could see that. I could totally see that.
That's that's a dream I want.
The sky's the limit.
I think we could do it. I truly do.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't know.
that's you guys both support each other,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys both see the good in each other. And so many people are like tearing each other down and working against each other. It's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
like we have a problem right here. How do we come together collectively to fix this? It's not
Us
you
versus
against
the
me, me
problem.
against you. Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. You know
And
what else too? Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead. I had nothing. You go.
I didn't know this until I started going through my whole mindset journey, which I started the mindset journey before I started that kind of led into the relationship with Christ. But with that, like, no two adults should ever have a disagreement or a conversation that leads into an argument. Like, me telling you like how you made me feel, you don't. And I tell my 12-year-old this. You don't get to decide how you made me feel. All you can do is, you know what, own it. Say, you know what, I upset you.
Yep.
How can we correct this and make it better? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I will be better about that, more cognizant of it, instead of like turning it into an argument. I think people just don't know how to communicate
Yeah.
nowadays.
And I think a lot of married couples lack the whole checking in with each other. You should never assume someone's
Yes.
happy in a relationship.
Yep.
I think Zach and I have monthly check-ins where we don't have to make it formal. We'll lay in bed and be like, you want to have a check-in? Sure. And then we'll just,
Oh, I love that.
did anything I say in the last month bother you? Is there something I can work on to better myself for you? Is there any, like we ask like 5 or 6 questions, and
I love that.
it's always like the answers to these questions are so very like, no, sweetheart, if there was something that bothered me, I would have told you
I
already.
would tell you. Yeah.
Like, it's very, I think there's honestly only been like 2 times that I didn't say something. I needed to calm down before I told him what was bothering me, because he never has to guess what I'm thinking, like ever. Ever. That man always knows what I'm thinking. There's never a time where he has to guess that Chelsea, like,
You guys are in sync with each other,
big time, big time. And it's like, I can read his body language and he reads my face. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that dynamic is very, I could say about 100 things by just looking at him, and he'd be like,
Yep. Yeah. Yep. I love that though. I love that.
Yeah, it's it's obviously taken a long time to get to that point, but I think that's the other thing that people forget. Like, that kind of connection takes time, and it's not
Yes.
in a 2-year span. I was not like this when we were 2 years in, it's taken years.
Yeah. Oh no, I totally agree with that. And
Yeah.
not everything also on the flip side is not going to be cupcakes and rainbows and honeymoon phase and you know.
I think
Some days
there's
you're not-
different phases of honeymoon phase too.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think we never, like, I've had people tell me this. They're like, I don't think you guys ever left the honeymoon phase. I'm like, I don't think so. I think it just morphed into a different one.
Yep.
They're like,
Oh, I love
that makes
that.
sense.
No,
That
I
makes
love
sense.
that. I love that.
Yeah. It's a more mature honeymoon phase. It's not like the puppy love, like, oh, he's so cute. You know, like it's a dark blue flame instead of, you know, a fast fire that you start with newspaper.
Yeah. Oh, I love I love that. I love it.
Do you think that the traditional gender roles are coming back, or do you think it's kind of straying away from it?
I honestly think so. So I think this is where social media can be a good tool. It has been. And I'm like, maybe it's just my algorithm. I don't know.
I know. I think we have the same FYP.
Yeah, probably. But no, I do. I definitely think I see. And again, I consider myself a baby Christian. I'm still learning. I'm still going to be learning for time to come. I know, for real. Like,
I love that.
I learn so much every day. I do. But I think with that, I think the whole country is shifting. I think it's, for a while, like, God was completely removed from schools. People didn't talk about it, you know, all the, and again,
History
I
is repeating itself.
I can go off on so many tangents on this, but I do think that even with celebrities and stuff, like coming out and speaking about their faith, praising God, giving the word to God, like, I do feel like there's a revival happening within the music industry, even, Christian music. I feel like even seeing, Brandon Lake and all that being on the country at the Grand Ole Opry, like, I feel like him and Jelly Roll, they're, you know, all these different things are happening right before us, and I feel like God is on the move, and there's a huge revival, and I do think with that, to answer your question, I do think we will see it kind of shift back to a more traditional role, which I am so happy about.
I think it's more of a modern traditional where it's like, it's almost impossible to only have one income unless you be making lots of money.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Yeah, I like that modern traditional. And I got asked I've actually, people have said this a few different times under my videos. You're not going to change anyone's mind. Why are you putting these videos out? Well, first off, Brett, it's content, and this is my page, and you're here watching my content. So I'm going to speak on things that I am passionate about.
And unfortunately for you, Brett, you're going to see my content more because you engaged. Sorry.
And thank you for arguing in my comment section because you're boosting my views.
Exactly.
But with that, Brett, people saying, like, you know, you're not going to change anyone's minds, like, you know, why are you doing this? Well, you know what, if I could change one person's mind, how does change happen? It starts with people speaking out. If no one speaks up, it's going to continue just snowballing.
How long have you been making content? Let me ask you that question.
Well,
like,
shoot,
the content you're making now.
Shoot. Maybe only, because if you scroll deep on my Instagram, my content was not like how it is now. I would say that first video that kind of took off, the one that you sent me that you said you liked my hair dark, that was in 24. So a year and a half, maybe?
I'm going to tell you something. You've already changed people's minds.
Oh, well, thank you.
You have, because the amount of people that reach out to me, because I've been doing this for like 2 years. The amount of people that reach out to me just to be like, hey, I just want to let you know, you changed my mindset about this, 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 and this. And it's like, I've never spoken to you ever. You have been quiet in my comments. I have no idea who you are, but thank you for telling me that.
Yep.
I guarantee you.
I do get those messages, and so I mean, I guess, yes, I guess it does happen, and maybe there's people that I don't know about.
There is,
but
I'm sure.
if you can change one person's thinking, it's the snowball effect, you know? Or maybe it's making someone think about, even a woman. For the life of me, like I'm gaining more women followers, of course. I want it to land on the women's FYP.
Oh,
That's
mine's
who
always on
I'm
the guys.
trying to reach, you know? And like, I love the guys. Thank you so much all for the support. But
Yep.
but I want it to reach the women, and it's like,
Our target audience is missed.
it's like a shooting the arrow, boom, miss.
Rhythm. I'm trying to be on the female side, but okay.
I've actually had someone write, like, comment under my thing, like, I sent your video to my wife and it did not go well.
I've had a lot of those, and I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Well, the shoe fits.
You know, I've had a few where people be like, man, I wish this would hit my wife's FYP. I said, share it.
Yep.
And they're like, do you want me to die? I'm like,
Girl, women.
really?
I'm not saying men aren't toxic, but women are just a whole nother level. And you know what else too gets me? I cannot stand. I mean, yes, they're funny for content to like laugh at, ha ha ha, funny. But when people do these toxic videos, like act as if like being toxic is cute.
I don't like those. I don't even think they're funny.
Like there's
They
one.
make me mad.
No, I know what you mean. There's one on Instagram I follow. It's targeting like I think Latino women. Like the guy dresses in the wig or whatever.
Oh.
I'll like laugh at his videos because he makes it funny. But like I know people really do those things probably in real life because how would you get the idea or the thought of that? And so that part I don't find funny, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like people capitalize on this toxic ditzy or you know, personas, and I'm like, no.
I think the whole like being jealous thing is really gross too, because
Yes.
I am the least jealous person
I am not either.
with my husband. The men before him, absolutely. I was also a child, and two, they were also cheating on me. So like, you know, but
Girl, I've been there too.
my husband has, I can legitimately say, if my husband were to go to a bar, which he does not very often, but like when he does, I'm not sitting here like, oh my God, there's females there. If the bar was full of females, I would not be bothered by any of that.
Because he knows how good that he knows what he has. He values
That man freaks out when women flirt with him. He clams up. I have seen it. He is like,
I was just think I don't know what to do with my hands.
like he is just like, he stutters. Like he doesn't know how to act. Like it's precious, honestly. Like there was this.
You know what he's thinking on the inside? He's like, my wife will cut you.
No, I'd be like, honey, you have to really like power wash his pants before you put it in the washing machine. Okay, they're real gross. He's in human feces sometimes. So, and he's also really, really picky eater. So just let you know. And he's really, really sweaty when you sleep next to him.
Yeah. Nasty. You don't
It's
want
fine.
him. You don't want him.
He's honestly the best. Don't take him from me.
No. Oh, I love it.
Oh my God. The women that have videos, like, and I know it's supposed to be funny, hold up like a picture of a beer and say, can you tell me what kind of beer this is and I'll let my husband go on a boys trip?
I've seen it a few times. I don't see it very often, but I know what you're talking about.
My husband goes on a yearly snowmobile trip with a group of like 20 men, and it's like a 8 or 9 day trip. Okay.
Yep.
That man deserves that.
Yep.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yep.
And I have other people say that to me. Oh my God, do you go on girls' trips? That's so inappropriate. Hell yeah, I go on girls' trips.
And he probably supports that. Like,
He
I think it's
does.
great.
He's like, please go on a trip. You need a break. Thank you.
Well, because at the end of the day, he knows it's going to be better for both of you guys.
Honestly, it makes me feel so loved that man he never tells me no, but I'm also never doing things that's gonna like harm our marriage. I'm never
Yeah.
gonna say things
Well,
like
it's consideration. Which a lot of people lack, being considerate of the other person.
yes.
How would that, if you have to ask yourself, should I be doing this? The answer's no. Like, you should have to ask
Correct.
yourself, should I be doing, and that's another thing too. Girl, I've made a video about this before too. I feel like we have so many things we could talk about. Like, this could be
I'm gonna have
a
to
3
have
hour
you
long
back
podcast.
because we
I
can go
know.
on
We need a part
forever.
two, a
Yeah,
part
we
two
do.
to be continued.
I know.
But when I see, I think men or people, not just men, women and men forget that you can see some like mutual accounts. So like, I don't know why, but obviously I don't follow no OnlyFans stuff. Like, that's not me at
No.
all. But sometimes things will pop up like on Instagram, and you can see on there like people who you're friends with who have liked that, and I'm like,
Yep.
if their wife knew that they were like,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like,
I
how
have
can you be?
multiple friends like that, and I'm like,
Oh man, my ex, not my husband, but my ex-boyfriend, the one actual relationship that I had outside of my marriage, or after we got divorced, it's the only like actual relationship I've had in these last 8 years. He would do that because he has a very large following. And actually, he would accuse me of doing things on, and I'm like, here's my phone, you have full access to. It's because he was doing those things that he was accusing me of, knowing that I wasn't. But anyways, it would irk me so bad when he would be liking half naked women's pictures, the very seductive. I'm like, how does that make me feel? Because first off, now you wonder why I don't take a compliment from you very well. When you, oh, you look beautiful with no makeup, or those melasma spots with no makeup. Oh, you're beautiful. I don't believe you because you're liking these women's pictures,
and they're
commenting on it.
airbrushed.
That, and they look nothing like me. So obviously you like that. You know, it's so disrespectful and so distasteful when men do this. And I'm not going to call this person out because they might see this video. There's a follower of mine, him and his wife both follow me. And I have multiple of those scenarios. So
Oh, me too. Me too.
so it's not like one person's gonna be like, oh, she's talking about me. But I had seen that same thing. Like, he had popped up under this person's thing, and you could see the engagement. I wrote him a DM. I can't believe I did. And you know what? And I was telling Jose, my ex-husband, about it. He was like, hey, like, you need to stop, interjecting, stay out of people's business. And well, he wrote me back, and he was like, you know what? You're right. Like, thank you. I have an amazing wife. And that was a huge eye-opener for me.
Oh my God, that makes me so happy.
And I'm like, huh, see?
Oh my God, I'm shocked he didn't get mad.
No. And I was like, good on you.
Good
for
accountability.
correcting. Yes.
Which leads me to ask.
I love to laugh. I know it's going to be good.
Do you think that women lack accountability more than men?
Yes, wholeheartedly. And I'm not saying that men don't. I know there's plenty of men that lack accountability. I think it's a whole people thing. However, I think women are put on this pedestal, and I've talked about this. Women are taught, you can have crappy actions, you can treat people this way, but what do you deserve?
Yeah.
And
don't settle.
Yes. What are you bringing to the table? And all these things, and it makes me gag. Like,
Me too.
And I feel women are put up on this pedestal. Not that, when I say pedestal, it's not that I don't think that women should be treated good. Of course, how do I say this?
I know what you're trying to say.
They need to be treated good and with respect and love and kindness and all that. But I just feel like women are given such a pass, and you hear me talk about this in the videos. A woman could do the same thing as a man, say cheating, for instance.
Double standards are pretty wild.
It will be one of those, well, if a man does it, oh, what a loser, what a asshole, what, low life, all these things, deadbeat. But then if a woman does it, oh, he must have done something to trigger her to do that. It's just complete horse crap. Like, the double standards with that. So yes, I think
it is like the amount of shit we say on the internet. Like, oh my God, if a man were to say this, can you imagine?
oh, the one of actually it's my most viewed video. The first one that he had sent me with the hair, I wasn't involved or in the TikTok creator rewards program, so I didn't make any money off that video.
Damn it.
Darn. Do they not give like retro pay for that?
No, because I had a video, my first viral video, I had 1 million views in one day.
Wow.
No money.
I had a video and it had to do with the COVID vaccine, like the trial that came out that showed, and this was like my first taste of something for real going viral, and I was making money. I was watching every day the thing click over and I'm like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
like
That
made
really
my
happened.
heart.
Zach was like, as soon as he's like, if it gets up to 500,000 views, because I was talking about like him saying his vows to me on the porch, which was like the most precious thing ever, and he recorded it.
Oh.
I muted it so nobody could hear him, but
Yeah.
he's like, if it hits 500,000 views, I'll say my vows. I said, I don't think you understand how the internet works, bud.
Yeah.
It hit 1 million views in like 22 hours.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, are you gonna say your vows now? Because
Wow.
it's twice.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I forgot where we were going.
That
with
is
that.
me.
Accountability.
We were
Oh yeah.
talking about accountability. Oh, it was when Riley Green had put out that recent music video. Well, not so recent now. It's been out for a few months, but I had never seen the video, but just seeing people
Still
on the
haven't seen that
FYP
video.
page. I haven't watched it either, but I just caught clips from people posting about it. The amount of comments of women, oh, the things I would do to him, all these different things, married women. And then I put that video out about the accountability. People done lost their minds when they seen that. Like
Oh,
women.
they don't like
women.
being accountable.
But yet, you would rip him a new one if he just even commented or liked, a female. It doesn't even have to be attractive, a female.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And again, we could go all different ways with that, with the accountability with women.
yeah.
It's the complete double standards.
I also like on that thought process. So Zach deleted his social media. He doesn't have he still has like his accounts. He just deleted the apps. He hasn't been on Facebook in like 4 years. So he takes my phone and goes on Marketplace. But like other than that, he'll download it. If someone's like, I sent you a message on Facebook, can you look at it or whatever? He'd be like, I have to re-download the app. Good Lord. But I have always been that person. My husband is like the biggest hype man ever, and I want him to like hype my friends up. So like if my girlfriend posted a picture or something and he liked it, I'd be like, thank you for liking and supporting my friend. But a lot of people would be like, oh my God, your husband's liking another girl's pictures? Motherfucker, that's one of my good friends. Like that does not bother me at all. That man is being supportive.
But you know what that boils down to? You guys have a very healthy and secure relationship. Not many people can say that. And with that being said, people will complain, but at the end of the day, it boils down to accountability. You're allowing this person, you're choosing this person, knowing that they do this, that they're very jealous, that they have a tendency of cheating, that they, have a drinking problem, that, they've been, kind of a playboy. About Miss Fix-a-Lot over here, I can fix them, and you settle. The pink flags are now, or the red flags are not pink flags, or whatever I said earlier. Red flags are not pink flags. There we go. A train of thought. Woo!
Like I don't know.
Yeah. But it's like at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, and I had to do that whenever I was with Wes. Why am I allowing myself at a point? You then become the problem when you continue to allow, and that's a conversation people don't want to have. When you continue to allow the same behaviors, at some point, you have to ask yourself, like, why am I allowing this? I am now the problem. And that was a huge eye opener for me. That was probably the pivoting point for me in changing my path.
And, you know, you are accountable for your own shit. And it's like, oh, okay. Got it.
Yep.
I might be a problem too.
Yep. It will, of course, you know. But people will pick these people, and then you have to be accountable. You have to. I forgot where I was going with that. Why I said that, but
I know. I don't think people realize the magnitude in which choosing the person that they're to be with, it holds a lot of weight.
yes,
Like-
that's what I meant earlier with like the leading with lust. People lead with lust, and it's like they've got like blinders on.
Yeah,
like
they're like a horse.
ignoring the
Horse and
shits. The shitstorm, excuse me, over here, you know, like, oh, I don't see that blinder.
Excuse my language as I'm saying fuck every 5 seconds. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self before marriage, what would it be?
Before marriage? So if I'm going back in time, like, okay, it's 17-year-old Haley.
Yep.
Oh, for sure, hands down, wait till you're married to have sex. Hands down. That was not taught to me. That was not a thing that was talked about.
Really?
No. That was like, I don't want to say taboo. Not that it was looked at as a bad thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't a conversation that I remember ever having with my parents or it ever being talked about. And so if I could go back, it would, and that's something I really try to instill in my son. You know, I feel like nowadays it's so hard, you know, for someone to stay pure like that. And if I could go back, it would be that. It would to tell myself to stay pure till I got married.
I love that. That's, because nobody does that anymore. It's not a thing.
No.
You can count on 45 hands.
Woo! It's, yeah. Oh. I saw something with the OnlyFans girl, the one that was like sleeping with all those men or something. I was just, did you not see that a while back? It's this British girl. I could not even believe that this was even a thing. I'm like, her friends, like, how are you allowing her to do this? What person in their right mind would do something like this? Like,
What was she doing?
obviously, she doesn't have God in her life, but was sleeping with 100 men in 24 hours. And it shows her, she did a trial run before the big, because I guess the number was going to be larger or something. And she's like breaking down, crying. And I'm like, you horrible friends, like you see her broken right now. And you're allowing it for the sake of views. And because I think with the OnlyFans stuff, like you get into this, like you have to constantly stay relevant and do the next extreme thing to keep that tier of being like the top OnlyFans. Like that's just me thinking, you know, like
What?
I couldn't imagine
100
that way.
men in one day?
Yes. I don't know if she finished it. I have no idea. That popped up on my thing. It is more so not because of her, but like people commenting about it, like doing the remixes of the video, like speaking against it. So that's how I found out about it. But
that is such damaging.
It is. And I'm just like, now that if I see that stuff, I'm like, you need Jesus. Like only Jesus can save you from all this stuff. But this worldly thing, like that is not, do you know on OnlyFans, you can look this up. I forget the exact statistics. And this is including married men. I think it was like 55 or 60%, 55% of people have an OnlyFans account, whether they are on there selling or they have one to watch.
55?
Of the population. And don't quote me on the exact number. It was like half. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, that's half of the population.
Wow.
Yeah. Mind blowing.
That's a mind-boggling amount.
It is. I know. It's sad. It's so sad.
There's a
But
lot
it's
of
like
people.
the world.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying like the worldly views, like those are what's accepted as normal, and then whenever you're trying to be obedient and walk an obedient path and try to do good and get closer to God, then you're looked at as being the weird one. Like I'd rather be the weird one.
Do you know how many men have reached out to me to ask me if I have an OnlyFans?
Really?
Like 15.
Wow.
Yep. And I'm like, respectfully, fuck no.
Yeah. Wow.
I think it's pretty apparent that I am never going to do OnlyFans. But it's kind of concerning that I have that many men asking me that, because am I giving off some kind of vibe that I have that?
No, I don't. First off, I don't know what the heck goes through people's like thinking on that stuff. I don't know. Perhaps maybe like the dark hair and the tattoos, maybe, and they like
I don't know.
fantasize.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm also okay. Yeah, I am.
Megan Fox vibes,
Oh, wow! What a compliment. She's so pretty.
She is really pretty.
Like, just because I have dark hair or I have color in my hair, my nose is pierced, and I have like tattoos all over my body, does that mean that I'm gonna be flaunting my body? I am very opposite of a normal conservative female. I know that for a fact. I know that. And a lot of people judge a book by its cover. They do all the time. They're like, oh, you got colored hair and your nose is pierced and you're covered in tattoos. I wasn't really geared up for what you're about to say. I'm like, oh, judging a book by its cover? Got it.
Yep.
Got it.
Oh, I would love to see those comebacks.
I don't look like, I look like one of the, the people that hate men. So
I don't think so.
No, I do. Because a lot of people are like, I was expecting hate to spew out of your mouth about your husband. And I was like, oh, so this is the perfect hook. Got it.
Yeah, all right. There you go. Confuse them.
Fucking with your mind.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Last thing. So I play a game with everybody on my podcast. This is a game I got off TikTok shop, actually.
Oh, wow.
It's called How Deep Will You Go? There's 3 different questions, 3 different tiers of questions. We have level 1 is icebreakers, level 2 is confessions, and level 3 is getting deep. First thing, level 1 icebreakers. This question is, I love this question. When do you feel the most at peace?
Oh, I love this one too. The most at peace is in the morning before I get on any social media. I do read the scripture every morning. Every morning, it's a non-negotiable. I take it on, if we go out of town, I take it with me. I've talked about this before. I no longer look like, oh my gosh, how can I fit God into my day? I fit my day around God. The moment I wake up in the morning, I've tried to pray as soon as I wake up, but I'm gonna tell you, I fall back to sleep, and then I find myself like it's all over the place, and I'm praying for the whole neighborhood, and then it's like then I'm like then not really the neighborhood, but then I find myself like waking up, like I dozed back off. I'm like, God, it's me again, like
so sorry, I'm dreaming about you.
I don't pray right when I wake up, but I will say as soon as my eyes open, God, please, God or Holy Spirit, please fill my heart, my mind before the world does. That every morning. But I get up, get my coffee, take my thyroid meds because I have to digest. I don't have a thyroid, so and then I sit down. I put my headphones on, and I have worship. I have a playlist of songs that it's my key songs that I don't know. They just make me feel good, but like relax. And I get my stuff out, and I go to town, and then I get my son up. Get ready for school, whatever, and all that. But so that is when I feel the most peace.
I love that.
And I look forward to it. And if we are out of town, I will get up even earlier. If it means I don't get to do my hair to get out the door, then I don't get to do my hair. But that's coming first. So
that is awesome and very admirable, because not a lot of people can say that.
Been a game changer for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I believe it. I truly do. Truly do. I love that. Level 2 confessions. What's your biggest insecurity?
I would definitely say, so okay, I have 2. Okay. The melasma spot. So obviously the light's a little bit different. I have foundation on, so it's harder to see, but you can kind of see the melasma. If I have no makeup on, no concealer, whatever, you can see them, and the sun intensifies. So I feel like in the winter time it gets better, but I have like a dark one right above my lip, like here, like right there. I would say that is one of them, which is so silly. It's so stupid.
No, it's not.
And then the other one, I I like it, but I don't. So I love having muscle. I love being strong genetically. And I've gotten asked by men, like, how do I build traps like that? Like, as a woman, I'm like, it's not very, sometimes I feel like Fiona from Shrek, sometimes. I'm kidding. I do. And sometimes I feel like my trap, like, this area up here genetically is where I build muscle the fastest. I get a pump the fastest. I literally could
love that.
just grabbing a weight to do legs and I will get a pump in my traps. And so while I appreciate when a man says, you know, like, man, what do you do for your traps? Like, on the flip side, I'm like, I'll see myself in picture. Even just like, even sitting here, I caught myself on the camera, like hunched over. I felt all, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know.
Are you serious?
So,
That is so funny.
yes, I know, but sometimes I do. I feel like Fiona from Shrek. So it's like a blessing and a curse having big traps.
That is so not funny, but it is funny.
Freaking ham hocks on my back.
I gained muscle really fast, and that always like made me feel kind of weird because all these girls are so dainty and tiny, and I'm like,
Yeah. I'm never gonna be dainty and tiny. I used to want to be super thin. Like I had actually, and a lot of people don't know this either. I actually abused diet pills growing up, hydroxycut and all that.
Oh, really?
My mom had made a comment one time. She probably forgot about this. I never did. But her like, and I've never been an overweight person. There were times like you could tell looking back, probably inflammation from eating fast food when I was younger, you know, type of thing.
how tall are you?
5'1" to 5'2".
Girl, I
Yes,
thought you were like
I'm
5'8", 5'9".
No, a lot of people think that until they meet me in person and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're short." I'm like, "Yeah, tiny but mighty." Do what?
How tall do you think I am?
I would say 5'7".
Good guess. There are
5'7",
people that legit think I'm like almost 6 foot tall. I'm like, no.
I don't think that you look 6 foot. I think you look like a good like average, like a good height. Like
Yep.
I've always wanted to be taller, to be more, you know, leaner, and with that, so I abused diet pills, and I remember being so obsessed. Oh, I wouldn't eat, and I never made myself throw up. Never made myself throw up, but always like would restrict food and cardio bunny. I was afraid of looking manly, and it wasn't until, and I grew up as an athlete. I grew up playing sports.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I've always had an athletic build. I remember wearing my cheerleading uniform to school, and my legs were thicker. Looking back, I thought I was fat, and I hated my legs. Looking back, I'm like, girl, you had a muscle. Like, you know, now I appreciate it. But now finding beauty in that strength and lifting, like I know I will never be a twig. I will never have a petite.
No.
I'm petite in height, but not petite like in my bone structure.
Right.
And I now have embraced now. Give me that big old bottom. I don't show my butt on social media, but I got a booty on me. I wasn't blessed here. I was blessed behind.
Hell yeah, girl. I will right now is this, well, not now. Last summer was the smallest I've been since high school. I'm smaller now than I was in high school. And it's all from like portion control and macro counting. Like I started macro counting like hard, and I did not
amazing.
realize how life-changing that would be.
Yes.
And I lost so much weight. I was like,
Our portion size is even peanut butter, for instance. People think like I'm grabbing a tablespoon of peanut. That's not a lot of peanut butter. Or that's not a lot of
that's
avocado.
like 14 tablespoons, bro.
Or guacamole, sitting there eating chips and guac, like, you know.
You know what's
There's
really,
some-
really sad is realizing that 4 tortilla chips is 1 tortilla.
Oh, girl, don't tell me. I know. I heard that, and I'm like, oh man, that's depressing.
I'm like, that ruined my life. I saw
I know.
that. I was like, I don't want to know that information.
Yeah,
I don't
it's like
that.
one of those things. Like I would have been better off in life not knowing that.
I want to unsee that. Like that.
I want to unsee it too.
That is something I never wanted to know ever again.
Yeah, same.
All right. Last level deep getting 3. I cannot talk. Level 3 getting deep. Oh my God.
All right.
Okay. No, I'm not asking that question. I already know the answer to that one. Come on, card, separate. What is a dream you let go of, but it hurts?
Dream I let go of, but it hurts. Honestly, I will say, my military career. I will say, in this, not to get back into the marriage stuff. I feel like too.
I mean, that's our niche. It's fine.
This caused resentment on his side because I changed the course of what we both agreed upon. We met each other in the military. I wanted to stay and do the 20 years, be a first sergeant. I wanted to stay enlisted. And once I had my son, my whole mentality changed. I didn't want to be deployed, with the baby, all the things. And so I got out, which ended up being, the best thing for me. But I do, not under the Biden administration, I think I would have been completely miserable. Because when I was getting out, NCOs couldn't be NCOs, all the little, all the baby-fied, hurt feelings stuff. But I think looking back, if I go back and do it all over again, it would be the military.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I could see
but
that.
Even though I knew my purpose after I mean, obviously my purpose after I became a mom was being a mom.
Yeah.
But I think I felt like when I got out for a little bit too, that was another thing, trying to find my purpose outside of being a mom. Because I was so used to this role and leading, and so I would say that.
It's a good answer.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
All right. Where can everybody find you for people that don't know you?
Well, I wouldn't say on Facebook because I don't really use Facebook, but Instagram,
Wow.
Haley_Lawrence on Instagram, and then of course TikTok, Haley Rochelle XO. Is it 2 XOs? Is it 1 XO? Oh my goodness. I think it's 1 XO.
One.
Hold on.
I'll link your stuff, so it'll be on the...
Haley Rochelle XO. There we go.
Perfect. I'll put it in the show note. Well, I won't. Kevin will.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin, for all the shenanigans. I'm so sorry, y'all. If y'all only knew what we had to do to get you this video.
Oh my God, so many things. I'm gonna splice like 4 videos together.
They'll be like, wait a second. She was at the computer and she's in her car.
Be like, what is going on?
Now she's sitting on her bed.
She's just been a world traveler today.
Yep.
All right, well, I'm gonna
Girl, we gotta do a part 2.
Oh, we're gonna have to.
When I get my stuff fired up, I definitely want to have you on for sure.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But let's say goodbye and then we'll stick around.
Thank you all for listening.
No, go ahead. Go.
Thank you all so much for joining, for listening. I hope out of anything, that someone was touched by this in, a positive way. And God bless everyone, and keep fighting the good fight.
Yes. See ya.
And best from Texas.
In Michigan.
Yes. Because I am a Midwestern girl at heart.
Yeah, you are.
Yes. All right, you have a good evening.